That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode, I think it actually is 276, I believe, but episode 276 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that we focus on, where we focus on story and narrative. We do this every Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. We are starting a little late today. I apologize. It was my fault. I was getting a permit for air conditioning in my house because my house needs some air conditioning and I needed to get a construction permit. It's a long story. But anyway, it is taken care of now, and we are moving and on our way to the next stage of our adventures with Talisman Adventures with the D&D with GOG stream crew. Before I introduce them, just a couple of things as reminders for everybody. If you haven't already done so, please consider following us here on GOG.com. That is always appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please consider checking out and subscribing to us here on GOG.com, because that is always appreciated as well. There's my Pen and Pixels logo there. That is always appreciated as well. You can get those awesome sub badges and DRM free emotes and all that kind of good stuff. That would be lovely if you did that. And please consider clicking through and checking out our individual channels, because we have our own subsystems and Patreons over there as well. I am also happy today that we are being sponsored by, wait for it, these people. We're being sponsored by these people. Pegasus Spiele, which makes Talisman Adventures fantasy role-playing game. There it is. There's the logo, Pegasus Spiele, right there. So thank you so much to Pegasus Spiele for sponsoring us. And Pegasus Spiele is also going to be one of our sponsors for my charity convention coming up next week. So a week from this Friday, we have ARVCon on my channel, and I mention it because it is a convention that is there to support the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation, which does incredibly important work in fighting and making serious strides against the dreaded disease of cancer. This is the 7th annual ARVCon, which is hard to believe, and it will involve not only GOG.com, which is sponsoring that event along with many others, but it also is going to involve many of the GOG stream team members, including the folks I'm about to introduce to you right now, and also GOG beloved member Kilgore Trout, who is going to be one of our musicians during the concert that we're having on Sunday night. There are also multiple players. Echo Alpha X5, well known to people here, will be in the community D&D, which is happening Saturday night of ARVCon. So there's a lot going on with that, and I'm very, very excited about it. And another one who's sponsoring that is Athos Arts behind us. And in case you're curious, I'm showing this off because my book Icarus, the graphic novel, won a silver medal in the IBPA, that's the Independent Book Publishers Association Awards for Best Graphic Novel of 2020. And so I've got that sticker sitting right there in this banner here. And this weekend, I am going to take these two banners, these two folks with me, are coming with me and my daughter down to the Three Rivers Comic Con in the Pittsburgh area of the United States. And so, thank you. Thank you very much, Dragon. So I'm very excited about that, and that's why they're standing behind me looking at you while Jelinek stares into your soul. That is what is happening. And yeah, but right now, we have got some Talisman Adventures coming up with them. But I did want to let everyone know about that ARVCon thing, and hope they'll be able to come and donate and support this very worthy cause. And thank you to GOG.com, and thank you to Pegasus Spiele, two of the sponsors for ARVCon, for being that and being a big part of this. So thank you, thank you. All I got was a sticker. No, I got a lot more than that. I got the prestige of it, which is a big deal for our book. So yeah, no, I got a lot in the end. Thank you, Infinity Simplex. With that said, I also have another announcement to make, but this I'm going to wait to make until I talk to my players, and so I'm going to unmute myself so they know that we're ready to go. I apologize for interrupting the fascinating conversations they were no doubt having, and now I'm going to move over to reveal. There we go.
Signal not found.
I'm a pro streamer. I do this all the time. Yeah, can't you tell? Yes, there we go. That's the screen I was just working on. There we go. It is the Talisman Adventures crew, otherwise known as the D&D with GOG crew. And I do want to mention before we get started that this crew is going to be participating in ARVCon, doing the finale of D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder next Saturday it is. So it's going to be next Saturday, a week from this coming Saturday, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. They are going to be with us, and they're going to be finishing up Storm King's Thunder with an epic face down of about 1 billion gargoyles and Imrith and the dragon around there. So that's going to be very exciting. And then we're going to be moving into a brand new adventure with this crew, which is Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which is very exciting. And I've been getting all kinds of watching as they've been all excited about sending each other sea shanties and pirates, things and all this stuff. So I'm very excited for that. But I do want to make one quick announcement, which is a slightly bittersweet thing for us, and then an announcement about someone else who will be coming in, and that is that Chai is not going to be able to continue with D&D. Now, don't panic, everybody. Chai has arranged it, so she will continue to play Talisman Adventures with us, which is good, because otherwise I don't know how I just would have had to just take today off and just cry about it. So I'm glad that she's still with us for Talisman Adventures, but for a variety of reasons, which I won't get into, she won't be available to do two of those things. So after Storm King's Thunder, she will be jumping down to Talisman Adventures. So I'm sorry that she won't be with us for both, but I really am happy that she'll stay with us for Talisman Adventures. The good news, the other side of that bittersweet news, though, is that we are going to be joined, of course, Pyron and Darksaber 2K and Peripheral Mike will stay with us for D&D, but we will be joined by GOG streamer and beloved member of the community, Inanda. So Inanda is going to be our fourth member of the team, and so Inanda will be joining Pyron, Saber, and Mike for Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and Chai will remain with those three for Talisman Adventures. And so that's what we've got going on. So I did want to make that announcement. I am sorry to lose Chai for even part of it, but I'm glad she's here for Talisman still, and I am very happy to have Inanda joining us with this group. So it is going to be great. It's still all in the family. It's all GOG all the time and all that. And so I'm very happy about that. And with that said, I'm going to introduce these lovely people, starting with the head of the stream team, whose tireless work has risen it to its current high heights. And that, of course, is Pyron Jade, who very soon is going to be streaming all the work that she's doing with Ring Fit. And I'm very excited to announce that. That's totally true. That's not at all true. But it's my great pleasure to welcome Pyron Jade in. Welcome, Pyron. How are you? How is life in the universe with you? And who are you playing today?
Life in the universe is being good to me, I have to admit. And no, I will never stream Ring Fit. No. But I will actually stream this Thursday if you look at the schedule, because I'm returning to streaming with a regular Thursday slot. Wow.
Yay! That's awesome.
Yeah, transition. And apart from that, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Talisman Adventures. I even make like a little flow chart about how skill checks work, which we should maybe show people so that people understand what we're doing.
That's a good point. I will do that while you keep talking.
Also really excited about Ghost of Saltmarsh coming up, building a character for that already. Excited for the end of our Storm King Thunder campaign with fighting an ancient blue dragon. What could possibly go wrong?
Sure, it's fine.
Nothing, right? It's just ancient blue dragon. What could go wrong? Tonight I'm going to play Regina Augusta III, a sprite warrior who was exiled from the sprite court for being generally offensive, which is actually, considering this was the sprite court, is quite a difficult thing. But she is now somehow traveling around because we now need to find this talisman, and there's a witch, and everything else is kind of hazy for her still. Because they're all this kind of weird people who are saying weird things all the time. But on the other hand, they don't shoo her away, so that's an improvement. And sometimes she gets to hit things, which is also really good.
Mm-hmm.
So no objections from her. We're doing this completely. This is fine.
This is fine. And I actually now I'm going to show chat what we're talking about. I only had a chance to glance at this. And now that I look at this, I think really this is something... We got to throw this on Drive-Thru RPG or something like that, because, I mean, this has got it going on. So I'm going to show you this chart here, which has been made. And I'm going to show this right now on stream. So this is a skill check chart, which was made by the inimitable Pyron Jade, and it goes like this. Do you have the skill? No. Roll 3d6. Do you have the skill? Yes. Do you also have a focus in this skill that fits the situation? Skill like survival or in focus forest. If no, roll 3d6 plus the aspect that's related to the skill. If you do have a focus in the skill that fits the situation, then you simply roll 3d6 plus your aspect plus 2. Neat, tidy, like organized. That's the kind of, that's what's made Pyron a legend in the, organizational community. I'm like, that's...
This is a really good system, and I like it because it's so accessible. So I really like this Talisman Adventure RPG as like the nice little brother to D&D for me, because it works just so well. You have like everything in the one book.
Yep.
And I just wanted to show people like how easy it actually is to understand this system. So I made this.
Yep.
I'm going to make it also for melee and range attacks, although it's really similar because it works like this, more or less the same.
Yep, and it's interesting
Just
too. Ian Lemke, who is the lead design and development, was introduced to the people at Pegasus Spiele at Gen Con 2017, which began this long, strange journey. And I mention that only because, oh my God, it's too bright in here. Suddenly my camera can't handle it. I mention that only because my career as a writer also started at Gen Con. And I can't tell you how many times people talk about meeting someone at Gen Con that leads from one to the next to the next. And so you ended up with this really good system. And I agree with Pyron. It is a clear, easy to understand system while not being the same thing as D&D. And as much as I love the D20 systems and I'm, used to them, I do love the fact that there are alterations that make this its own thing and have its own feel. So yeah, very cool flowchart. I think it's awesome. And thank you, Pyron. That is very useful. I will keep that up. It is good for players and everybody else. And you folks should be interested in that because this is a game which is available for sale right now on DriveThruRPG. And if you like Talisman, and if you don't, what are you doing here? And if you like Talisman Adventures, then you absolutely should get, as you can, oh, look at that. There should be a total screenshot of that. We got all the books here. Thank you to Pegasus Spiele for sending this to us. Also, they're really nice books. I think the players would confirm, like, nicely made, really cool art. You get these cool light and dark fate tokens in here. You got the map in there. Yeah, so it's pretty slick. And the only thing that they've been sworn to avoid is looking at the adventure in the back of the book. I should say that there are other adventures that have been sent my way, which are being, as we speak, literally combined into the campaign, which we've begun. I have already begun to do that process. So it is exciting. While we're on the subject,
I didn't notice. Sorry to really quickly interrupt. I didn't notice until today, in fact, that because this is essentially, if you're coming from a D&D background, this is essentially your player's handbook and your dungeon master's handbook in one. Half the book is the player's book and half the book is the dungeon master's book, or the game master's book, I should say. But they're actually clearly marked. So if you have a player page, you have red tags at the top of the page and you have red numbers in the corner. And if you're on a dungeon or a game master's page, yep, as I was showing as well, you have blue tags on the corner.
Such a good
blue
idea.
Numbers at the bottom, which I only noticed that today, and I was like, oh, they clearly made it. Oh, how embarrassing! They made a mistake in the printing, and I'm like, oh no way, it's me being stupid.
I'm the embarrassed one.
Yeah.
No, it's really true. And they even have like the built-in, when you're dealing with real class in a book, right? When you've got the built-in cloth bookmark, you know what I mean, that you can just like put like that's when you're cooking with gas. So it really is a nice book, and it's worth it. I mean, you can literally pick this up and play with friends because they have pre-gen characters in the same book. If you just pick up the book, you're good to go that night. Like it doesn't take, if you have any basic familiarity with role-playing games. And so yeah, I'm really impressed with this book and with the way they put it together, and they are very excited about supporting it. And that's good because we're the flagship campaign. So we're really excited that they're doing it. I mean, I know that there's one online that maybe has a couple of people watching it as well. It's a big channel that does it. But we also are big, and we're also on Twitch, and we're the only Twitch live streamed one, I'll tell you right now. So anyway, thank you to Pegasus
We're the
Spiele.
S-ranking team as
Yeah,
well.
there you go. The S rank. So anyway, yes, but thank you to Pegasus Spiele. So thank you, Pyron, for doing this flowchart. This is awesome. Thank you for making this. We know about you now. And that leads us to Darksaber 2K, who is with us and as always is an officer and gentleman for doing Moobot and Dashboard. Saber, how are you? How's life? And who are you playing in Talisman Adventures?
Life is pretty good. You say I've been enjoying my copy of this again. Thanks again, Al, for organising this, and to Pegasus Spiele for getting them out to us. It is, like you say, a really nice book, and it's got that. Hit the microphone. It's got that.
That new book
smell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll have that again tomorrow because I may have ordered 2 extra D&D books for putting together my Ghost of Saltmarsh character.
Yeah,
but we'll keep that. We'll keep that for a more relevant time. But tonight I'm going to be back as Reginald Shoon, Ghoul Druid and Tender of Graves and Souls.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Wow, that sounds impressive." I'm like, it is impressive, but it's also very matter of fact. That's what I do.
Yeah,
and very different from Celsig, which is cool.
Yeah. So he what's the point in getting emotional? Everyone will be dead in 80 years or so, and he'll still be tending grave, barring mishaps.
It's true. It's a very straight ahead look at it. But
it's like, sure, you're angry now, but give it 80 years.
You'll understand. You'll come to terms with it at some point. Always a great pleasure to have Darksaber with us, and yes, I look forward to seeing what Reginald Shoon comes up with here. as we move forward. But first, I need to introduce, of course, the awesome and amazing person who was responsible for the video you just saw that everyone's always like, wow, that's an incredible video. I'm like, you're right. And if you want to know more, you should check out Peripheral Mike, who is also recently done a video for my podcast Speculate and may or may not be working with me on another video that may or may not be associated with my own personal channel. But I digress. Mike is awesome. Mike, how are you? How's life, the universe with you? And who are you playing in this game, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So I'm not on mute, am I? Good. I have a horrible habit of leaving myself on mute at the moment. I am okay. I had a bit of a mental health wobble yesterday, and I don't mind admitting it because I've admitted it behind the scenes, and I'm very open about this sort of stuff online. But I had a decent night's sleep. I've hydrated, I've taken my meds, and I feel much better today. So don't forget to do that yourselves as well. If you haven't hydrated or taken your meds, don't forget to do that. Get as much rest as you can, and just be generally nice to each other and yourselves as well. So I am playing Ashflower, who does have a surname, but no one's asked it, so he's not told them. Who is a Laywalker assassin and believes in balance in all things, including nature and the magical fabric weaved within that. Who is on a pilgrimage of sorts at the moment, the details of which may be told at a later date, but again, no one's really asked. He's just found this group of adventurers. He realizes there's a magical artifact missing somewhere, so he has decided that he must put himself in a position where he can help out. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's good stuff. Yeah. What's this? Regina doesn't believe in surnames, says Regina Augusta III.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to have Mike with us. And also a pleasure to have with us, as previously mentioned, Tasty Chai and Baby in a new space. Now, it must be said that this is literally a space that's just built for D&D. There's nothing else that happens here except role-playing. I'm just kidding. That's not at all true. How are you, Chai? How is the new place? How are you enjoying the new place? How is life with you? And who are you playing in this adventure?
Well, new place is great. I am exhausted. I literally don't have free time. I wake up in the morning, I do my routine, I work all day, and then I pass out at night. Like that's my life and has been for a little while. But it's okay because when you're busy, you don't have time to be bored. So that's nice.
Fair enough.
And the new place is awesome. My neighbors are cows. So that's cool. Cows are very nice neighbors. They don't play their music loud and they go to bed at 8 o'clock. So that's nice.
Fair enough.
As for who I'll be playing, I will be playing Mariel, who is a prophet, an elven prophet, who gets a little confused and oftentimes says the wrong thing, but is pretty sure she knows what she's talking about. And is really excited about what's going on because she only knows half of what's going to happen, and that half seems pretty interesting.
That's true, and she's was responsible last time for an important translation of a document without which you might still be looking at a toad instead of an enchantress, as we will discuss. So Muriel's lore was necessary. Always lovely to be with these four true friends and good people, and I'm excited to bring them along as we move into our little bit of a recap. Let's fire up some music, and let's talk about what happened in our last session. I believe we're still near the forest, so why not throw some forest music here from Greenforge Studios, which is one of our sponsors for this. All right. In our last adventure, in our last session, the party made some significant discoveries. So for those of you who have not been watching, first of all, check out on my YouTube the Pen and Pixels playlist, and you will find previous adventures of this. But in these sessions, the party has been sent along to try to discover, and right about here is where they're doing it. Hold on while I get this caught up. Where's my center picture? Where are you, center picture? You are right there. Okay. There we go. Now it's caught up. So they have been sent to the north to track down information about a missing item, a missing artifact. It is actually a missing artifact from the graveyard where Reginald Shun worked. In one of the more ancient crypts, there was an ancient receptacle for a talisman. That talisman has been removed. No one knows exactly why, but the person who knows the most about talismans, now that the Great Wizard is not here, is, of course, the Enchantress. And so the party had decided that they would go out to seek her. And it was not perhaps as easy as they might have hoped to do that. First, they had to traverse the land. They had to do so while avoiding a pack of goblins that was camped in a set of castle ruins. They also, then when they got to the hut, after they had taken care of that, they got to this hut where the Enchantress was supposed to be, but they found not a hut, but instead a croaking toad and an empty place otherwise. And so the party, not knowing what this was about, except for Muriel, who had had a vision of croaking at some point, but other than that, she didn't really know the details, just that there was something about croaking. The party was able to find a document translated by Muriel, which indicated that they needed a root called amaranth root to be able to turn the toad back. And there was, fortunately, amaranth, which was not all that far from the hut. They went out looking for it, but they did not just find the amaranth, they also found creatures eating it, specifically these giant beetles. And thanks to several things from the party, most notably a well-timed sleep spell from Muriel, and of course Regina's great might, she spent much of last session poised over a beetle waiting for it to move, or she would instantaneously strike it with her anger and, vengeance. It didn't move. She was somewhat disappointed, but it stayed asleep. So the party was able to defeat these beetles, harvest this root, bring it back to the hut, and feed it to the Enchantress, who thanked them very much for having saved her from her toad fate, and asked them to come into the hut with her because, as she told them, there was something that concerned them and, in fact, all of the realm, which they needed to do in some ways to save the realm, and that she needed their help to make that happen. And so, as we pick up with the party now, the Enchantress has just walked into the hut, having said, "We need to talk," basically. And the party is outside getting ready to do whatever it is they'd like to do. Party, I'm going to hand it over to you. What would you like to do?
I follow the Enchantress into the hut.
Okay. Others?
I wait some more. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Does
I go in.
the hut explode?
Okay, so Reginald goes in. Muriel, what about you?
I go in as well.
So I just want to cut
Okay,
on
then
I
I'm
want to
willing
cut on the
to go.
visual though of only Regina is outside, just sort of there, like getting more and more uncomfortable. I feel like as everyone's inside and Regina's outside. Do you
Yeah,
just
they
stay
might be
there?
having fun without me. That's not acceptable.
It's a party in here.
So, but I should not just go in because at this point this would look stupid. Is there an open window?
There is a window that is shuttered, however, at the moment.
Ah, well, then I will just go in through the door.
Okay. When you enter, you find the party outfitted in incredible gear and equipment. I'm just kidding. That's not what happens. When you enter, you actually see that the party has sat back down around this small table. She only has basically one chair, so you're all sort of like arrayed on boxes. This is assuming you sit down, but you're arrayed on boxes and, things like that, as the Enchantress kind of is gathering a couple of things together to talk to you. And finally, having done all of that, turns back to you. And she says, I am thankful to you for your assistance, as I said. And I do have a reward that I would like to give you right at the beginning. And so she opens up the chest, which you may remember was locked, and I don't think you took the time to open it because you were like, we need to go find this. So she opens the unlocked chest. Let it be noted that there are some of my party, some campaigns I run where people would not have waited and would have, bashed the chest in to get whatever was inside it. The party
That's
did
why
not
we're
do
the
that.
S-rank team, not these A and B rank teams.
And
Also,
so,
the sorceress has a habit of toading.
Exactly. So she brings out 3 scrolls which are available. And she hands over these 3 scrolls, and each one in turn, she says, "This to eliminate a problem with great quickness and to I would call this the shock and awe method of dealing with your foes. And so she gives a scroll of lightning bolt, which is arcane. So that is something which I believe Reginald would be capable of using.
I do have that as a spell in general, though.
Oh, true. So you might not even need it. So the scroll would allow you, though, theoretically, to cast an additional version of it. So basically, if you wanted to use that, you could take that. Basically, anyone who has arcane ability can use this scroll if you wish. Which I assume is not Regina. I don't know whether Ashflower or Muriel. Are you trying to say I don't have arcane? Whether Ashflower or Muriel have arcane? Do either of you have it?
I do not know.
Okay.
I'm
So-
mystic.
So this is all you, Reginald, if you want it. You could even keep it to sell, theoretically. So she gives that to you. There's a mystic scroll here, which I think Muriel can definitely use, and maybe Reginald. I don't know if you have mystic also.
No.
I have spell casting, so I should be able to use it. I just don't specialize in it.
Okay. So this one is called Marked for Glory. And Muriel, what this spell is this allows you to bless someone. It says bless a someone, I guess that's true, with divine providence. If you fail, or another character or ally you can see fails a test of any kind, you can cast this spell as a reaction. On a success, the target can replace any of the dice rolled, except for the Kismet die, with a 6. And a character or other ally can only benefit from Marked for Glory once per day. Now, the only thing that I'm going to tell you, which is a little different for you, is that if you're going to use Marked for Glory as a scroll, you need to tell me that you've got it, like, chambered and ready. Like, you don't need to have it open, but it can't be, like, sitting in your pack, you know what I mean? You got to have it there so that if need be, you could be like, Omine Dominus, or whatever the thing is, and, instantaneously you get Marked for Glory. So that is what you've got. And again, it's a one-time use when you've got these scrolls. So Muriel, I assume, is going to take that, but correct me if I'm wrong. Are you, Muriel?
Actually, I do have spellcasting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you have spellcasting? Well, so, I mean, it's up to you,
Yeah,
Ashflower.
sure.
Like, that's what we're looking for. Marked for Glory
I have
feels like a
spellcasting.
Muriel
Yeah.
spell.
No, I'm good.
And the last one is a nature spell. Do we have any nature people here?
My specialty. But Ashflower hasn't had anything.
Do you
No,
have
I
the
don't.
spell?
I don't have nature.
You do or don't?
What, the skill nature?
No, a spell casting for that would be a nature spell casting.
I only have spellcasting. I don't think I have a focus in it.
No,
I don't have a focus in it.
Yeah, you don't need to have the focus for it though, as long as you actually possess it. But people who have this
spellcasting ability
is called Shatter. And I want to say you have that already, Reginald? You have Shatter? Okay. So, I mean, same thing. You could either have an
Seen it.
additional, or Ashflower, you could take that as well, and use that too.
Do I know what it does? Like,
Yes.
I mean, I know what it does, but do it like does it say like scroll of shatter on top of it?
Yeah, what you're able to sort of, because it's using the sort of nature's runes, you're able to kind of translate it into basically, to paraphrase it, use this to destroy something.
Yes.
Is more or less what it is, and it will destroy an object and so on. So yes, I think Ashflower would know the basics of what it does.
So I look at Reginald and I say, with the scroll in hand, I say, "Would you mind if I?"
Be my guest.
My thanks, and I kind of took it into my back.
The other thing that I want to note here, I just want to double check quickly on one quick thing. Yeah, because the scrolls are ever identified. Okay. Now, one thing I should say. Now, this is important though. You do need to have the appropriate craft to use these scrolls. These scrolls, I believe, are basic level. Yeah, I think they are. Lightning, let me double check here though, make sure.
How does one know if we have the appropriate craft level?
I will tell you in just a moment. I have a chart.
Excellent. Thank you.
But
just
I
want
need to
point
know.
out that I found out really easily that I had the spellcasting ability, even though it's not on my character sheet, because I just had the bookmark in the book on my character's page.
So easy.
I need like
Yeah.
3 more bookmarks, and I'm adding notes onto my character sheet at the moment with like
That's a
page
really good
51.
point. Yeah, I could do with like these really nice fabric bookmarks. I could do with like attachable ones for D&D.
Yeah.
Because there's one on our Curse of Strahd campaign. We're literally on the player's handbook. I'm playing a cleric, which I've never played, and my wife's playing barbarian, which she's never played. So there's like 3 dozen bookmarks of different bits that we need.
Right.
My character I'm planning for Graham for Saltmarsh is like that as well. Because they use prepared spells, which is new for me. So it's like, here's your entire list of spells. You pick 2 at the start of every day. It's like, oh, great.
That's what you get to do. It's extra. It can feel like information overload, but the flexibility really helps. Now, one note. So these are all basic level scrolls, which means that you need a craft of 3 or above to use them. Does that fit? Okay.
Yep.
So I think that fits for everybody. Now,
even Regina could do that.
Even that's easy. Now, one thing I do want to mention though is that you, as I say, you use the scrolls, they're one use only. However, spellcasters can record deciphered spells into their spell books, at which point you would then have access to that spell going forward through your spell book. So it's up to you. Like the scroll is a very quick and easy, one use cast and then it's gone. Or you can transcribe it. And if you transcribe it, that's totally fine. Just be aware that if you transcribe it, then obviously you won't be able to use it as a scroll in the same way. So I'm just letting you know that that's an option available. I'm not sure that would apply to anybody specifically here, because I think probably you've got coverage on the spells regardless. But anyway, I'm letting you know about the existence of those things. So you have those scrolls. The other thing I want to note is that as she opens the chest, you can see that there's still something glowing coming from the chest that she doesn't pull out. You don't know what it is yet. You just see some glow from the chest and then closes it again. And so now you have these scrolls. And she says, "That much, of course, I gave you for helping me. But I could reward you still further. And I think there's a reason why you've come to seek me out. Perhaps your motivations and mine will be similar. Why did you come to find me?"
Information, Your Grace.
"What kind?"
We're seeking knowledge of a missing artifact from a tomb I was responsible for maintaining. Some sort of talisman shaped like this. And he holds up his hand in like a triangle.
And she kind of nods slowly and solemnly, and she says, "As I thought, the world and universe move in a rhythm, and it is that rhythm which has brought us together here. I have been investigating this disappearance already, for the talisman you speak of has great power, and I was using it, in fact, this spell that I was working on, to find the location of the thief. I made an error, though. Once in a while, I make them." She kind of does this little almost disgusted face, like making an error is just ugh, how could you even, so she's like, "And I was transformed into a toad. But I know what I did incorrectly now, and I believe I can cast the spell successfully, though it may leave me exhausted for some time. And I know who took the talisman. What I'm about to tell you is very dangerous information, and I must ask that you keep it amongst only the 4 of you. There are many who would pay good money for this, and those are not the ones that we want actually having this artifact. Can I rely on your discretion?"
I just put my hand on my chest and I bow my head.
And she looks at Reginald.
You have my word.
"What of you, Muriel?" And she looks at Muriel. "Do I have your word of silence on this matter?"
Oh, absolutely.
And she nods slowly, and then she turns to you, Regina, and she says, "And you, the brave and fearless?" She kind of puts emphasis on fearless,
You wouldn't want anybody to know that you got toaded.
And she says,
Is that the point?
"Well,
I understand. It's fine.
Well, yes. Also, I'd rather that no one know about what I'm about to tell you either."
But I don't even know what you're going to tell me.
That's right. That's why I'm asking you to give me your word. This is very dangerous information in the wrong hands.
Oh, I'm never the wrong hands. You can't always give me dangerous things. I'm fine.
So she kind of gives like a double take and then, well, several nights ago, I was collecting specimens of a rare flower that blooms only amongst ancient tombstones under the light of a full moon. You know the type, Reginald, I think. And she kind of looks over in your direction. And she says, while gathering the flowers, I noticed someone sneaking through the cemetery. Silently, I followed him and watched him enter the locked tomb. He must have had powerful magic to open that sealed door. Only moments later, I saw him emerge again from the tomb. Thanks to the light of the full moon, I recognized him as Galdor, the former priest of the High Temple itself. I tried to follow him, but lost him when he entered the woods. Galdor's lovely wife, Philomena, recently passed away. I fear he intends to use the talisman to perform a necromantic ritual to raise her from death. And this is an attempt that will only end in tragedy. You cannot reverse the path of life to death without deep consequences beyond any of our understanding. But Galdor may not understand this.
Galdor wants to get somebody back from the dead?
I worry that that is the case.
Like, wouldn't they be all squishy?
And she nods. Yes, indeed they would, Regina. More than squishy.
No offense to you, Reginald. You're not squishy.
And she says, more than squishy.
Not dead either.
Precisely. And whatever form Philomena were to take when she were brought back, she would not be the Philomena Galdor knew in life.
That's... I mean, isn't that like kind of a him problem then?
And she says, it would be, except that Galdor, as a priest of the High Temple, probably has a great deal of knowledge of the dark arts. The problem with this is that once you bring back one, once you work the process of life backwards, it opens a door. Just a crack, but it's open. Once a door is open a crack, it can be opened larger to a gap and then fully open. And what comes back from the other side, Regina, is not something which even you, with your bravery and might, would have the ability to conquer. There are things that are meant to stay on the other side of the wall of death. Galdor, by breaking that wall, even if it was simply his own wife, could affect the process of death for all, and put all of us at risk.
So, like, more dead people would come back?
She nods. Yes.
Many
of them not bidden.
Not what?
Very quickly, I would like to lean forwards to Regina and say, creatures of unimaginable magical power and horrific nature. Essentially, this Galdor wishes to punch a hole in the side of our universe to perverse the course of life and magic. And much like a boat on the sea, if you punch a hole in the side of it, you may be able to catch a fish, but you can't stop the seawater from rushing in afterwards.
Spirit eye laid to rest back in the graveyard. Be as a butterfly to these things.
You know, I totally get that this would be a problem for Reginald. But wouldn't that also mean that we could come back from the dead at any time, so we're kind of immortal and that's cool?
And she says, if you would like to come back in that form, but the you that comes back after death would not be the you are now, Regina. Imagine a creature so twisted by not only its passage to death, but by its return unnaturally against the cycle. Imagine what it would be like to be a twisted shadow version of you. Would you even be who you are now in your mind? Or would you simply bear an anger, a bitterness against those who live in the world of the light, and those in the world of the darkness that you can no longer join either? You are stuck in between, perpetually. Not a state I should think anyone would wish.
This all sounds like really philosophical, and I don't mind living with a bit of anger. But I am totally appalled by the whole squishy part things, which you were implying there. So I vote against it.
It's always bad news for the ghouls. Something like this happens. They always blame us when the dead come arising.
Yeah, we can't have that. I'm totally in support of Reginald here. Also, it's really bad for his business if the dead come back and everything. Although maybe you could then bury them like twice or thrice.
That's called double
Covered
digging.
in the service fee.
It's double digging, and they can't.
Not good to have that kind of return business.
So I'm just thinking about the Peter Gabriel song "Digging in the Dirt." I'm just like, that's not a great song, but not
I'm thinking of Pet Sematary.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that too. Good
Squishy
Lord.
bits.
So she says, the other concern is Galdor himself, at least even when I knew of him, was... The Philomena story is not a pleasant one. His wife died after contracting an incurable illness. It ravaged her body to such an extent that even resurrection spells could not restore her to life. The last that I had heard from Galdor, he had stolen several ancient texts from the High Temple. Obviously, I am not in the High Temple, I don't know what they contain, but it seems likely that those texts led him to this talisman, and that talisman may lead him to something else. He has been defrocked, removed from the High Temple now, the greatest punishment that can be given to a former priest, and yet that makes him in some ways even more dangerous. Galdor may well be unmoored, and if he is willing to be defrocked, to be ridiculed, to be mocked, and to be shunned by society for his actions, he may feel he has nothing left to lose. Even if we can find him and convince him that what he is doing will risk all of humanity, all of the realm, he may ultimately decide that it doesn't matter as long as he has his wife back in some form. This is the concern.
Grief can push people to do desperate things in desperate times, but the perversion of the natural magics of this world should never be crossed.
World's in delicate balance. This had disturbed the balance. Maybe tipped the scales off the table.
I think he should have tried booze instead.
And so she says, so we must stop him. I think that I can find him now that I understand the mistake I made with the spell, but casting it will leave me greatly weakened, which means it may be up to you to find Galdor and put a stop to his plans. Are you willing to take the risk of doing that, the four of you?
I have a quick question for you. This ritual that Galdor wishes to perform, this cannot be a simple ritual if it's to change the nature of magic in this way.
Indeed.
Is it just this artifact that they would need, or are there other components, other places of power that are needed to be visited? I wonder how far ahead of us Galdor may be. Is this the end hours of this ritual being prepared for, or only early days?
And she nods and she says, all good questions. I don't know the kind of lead that he currently has, but the fact that he has not been heard from since disappearing from the tomb is worrisome. And beyond that, of course, there is this question of what he may have prepared before stealing the talisman. I will say that places of power are often places where one can focus ritual energy, but the talisman is a mighty artifact. It is possible he could gain all the power he needs simply through its possession. That it is why it is critical that we get it back, before he does something which reverses the balance, perhaps even destroys the talisman entirely, which would have its own consequences. So, I don't know is the answer to your question, but I cannot but imagine that he has already made substantial strides. We must assume that we are late in the game, I think.
All right, I think this is all really clear. We go get that Galdor guy, we hit him until he hands over the talisman, and then I'm unsure about the then part, but I think we should get to that point first.
What do we do with the talisman after we get it? I'm of the thinking it should go back in the grave.
If you would take my advice, I would say it should go back from whence it came. Except perhaps we can more carefully seal the entrance this time to make sure that no further examples of those like Galdor return. But Galdor must be dealt with first. If all goes well, yes, returning it to its crypt seems logical to me.
I'm in agreement. Balance must be restored.
I just nod.
So, having gathered that information, she nods slowly and she says, "Very well. Then I will give you one further gift. If you have need of rations or food, I have some food here for you. But I also have one other thing." And she pulls forth, opens the chest, and again you see the light coming out of it. And she pulls forth an artifact. And let me just get the artifact that's there, which is not kept here. Oh, okay. Because they included it in case you went to find it itself. Okay, there we go. She pulls forth this spectacular sword from the chest. Now, it's a glowing sword, it must be said. The grip of the sword is fashioned to resemble a winged human with outspread wings forming the crossguard. It's like essentially like an angelic figure, right? The sword glows, so it provides light for, as it says, 10 meters, so 30 feet, I guess, and then dim light for an additional 15 feet, or 5 meters. The weapon also has when a good aligned character wields it, the weapon has special properties, but a character you would need to make a wits check to be able to identify all of its properties. So, does one of you have a lore? Probably Muriel, I think, actually, is the one that makes the most sense. But others of you could actually check it out if you wish, using a lore, which would be a wits test, to see if you know something of this thing.
I do have lore.
Okay.
Oh, do you? Excellent.
So
Yes,
once you get this Reginald.
I think lore's one of those ones you have to have, or you can't even do the unmodded one as well.
Chiblix, I give you a gift. If you ever need rations, you should have prepared better. That's my gift. Now be off. Great gift.
So I get 3d6. That's d6, not d20. Different campaign. 3d6 plus 4. Last one's the Kismet as always. It's a 14.
And it was a difficulty of 14, so you just got it. All right. Yeah, you've actually heard of this weapon before, Reginald. It is a legendary sword, in fact, known as the Sword of Light. This sword not only does what it says on the tin, it casts light, but also a character who is good aligned, you will get +2 damage against spirits or undead when using this sword. So, and she says, "This is a weapon of which I have kept control for many years, but the time has come for it to go to those who can act with it and not simply possess it. Those of you who are aligned in the name of good may be able to use this weapon." Now, I do need to ask here, the one concern I have is, this is a normal, size sword. So the person who would obviously be someone that might think about something like this is Regina, but the sword is 4 times the size of Regina, I think. So I don't...
To nobody's surprise, Regina is not good aligned.
Yeah, and exactly, there's that too. And Reginald's neutral?
I am, at least until I level up, because I think I get an ability where I can change my alignment.
That's right, and Ashflower is neutral. So that means Muriel.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, Muriel is good.
I had you as neutral, Ashflower. You're good?
I'm definitely good aligned, yeah.
Oh, then I take that back. All right, well then guess what? You are also capable of using this item.
Probably should have written down what it did.
Yes,
So,
it
sort of
says
like-
will
Plus
destroy
something,
lay
something.
walkers who wield it. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Excellent. I grab the sword and explode.
Sorry,
in a
Pyron.
pinch, I can still whack somebody with the sword if needed, but I can't use its special ability.
Right, exactly.
So-
That's right.
Technically speaking, if I have a focus in melee small blades and I wield this sword, would it be like an unskilled attack if I used it?
Right, because small blades, I think, is like knives and daggers, so that doesn't actually fit. Yeah, so that's right.
Okay.
But you would still be able to use its good ability, even if you're not, because it doesn't require you to have a focus in it. As long as you're good aligned, you would still get it. So using the handy-dandy skill check chart made for us, so the answer would be, do you have the skill? And you have the skill of melee, right? But not you actually know.
Skill of melee.
You have the skill of melee, so that would be a yes. But do you have a focus? The answer would be no. So you would roll 3 because you only have small blades, not whatever the swords or whatever.
Not normal swords.
So normal swords. So that would mean you would roll 3d6 plus your aspect, which fits for this, which would be strength. And then you would add an addition when you're fighting spirits or undead. You would get +2 damage against those creatures.
Cool.
So that's how that would work. Muriel could also use this, but as a prophet, my guess is that Muriel is not going to have sword like proficiencies to the same degree. Yeah. So
No.
yeah, okay. You could swing it at someone, but like, yeah. So there you go.
So I will take the sword and I will bow gently to the enchantress and say, I will take this artifact and protect it for first and foremost, and use it if the time calls upon it.
And she nods and she says, I believe you. Be aware, Laywalker, that there are things beyond the veil of ignorance that surrounds you and all mortal creatures. Even Muriel, whose vision can occasionally pierce the cloud, does not have full understanding of what lies on either side. Thus this sword, I believe, was meant to come to you. But be aware that it is a gift, not a promise. Do not waste the gift you've been given.
I just bow again.
And so having done that, she says, is there anything else you would ask of me or need of me before I cast this spell? Afterwards, I expect I will be somewhat incapacitated for some time.
Will this spell harm you in any way?
No, simply exhaust me.
Okay.
And then we know where the guy is.
Yes.
Okay, but you will still be able to tell us where that is, or will you be too exhausted for that?
I will be able to tell you where he is. And I did have this image of them not doing that and her being like, he is just falling over. But no, she says, I will be able to tell you. And when you get to the other end of your journey, you will find him where this spell leads. I would caution you when you find him. Take care. Galdor, even though he has been defrocked and removed from the High Temple, was a high priest. That means that he possesses power and the motivation of a fanatic. That is a dangerous combination.
Okay. Well then. Good luck, Grace. You can do it.
And kind of looks around at all of you and then says, very well. She closes her eyes and breathes deeply. And you sort of wait, like, for a moment, for a while, like, literally a couple of minutes, she doesn't do anything. She just stands there with her eyes closed. There's no glow, there's no hum or anything. She's just there for a couple of minutes.
I feel weird staring at the sleeping lady, so I'll just, like, sit down on the windowsill or something.
Okay. So you do that. And as you're sort of starting to go, what is the... Suddenly her body stiffens and her eyes open wide. And her words require me to use the machine that I didn't set up yet, which is my echo machine. And I have her here. And it's fine, chat. And I had it all planned. And this is fine.
Fine, he's got this. He's got this. He's a professional.
How are you? Okay. Right.
He's all good. He's got this.
Here we go. So her eyes open and a silver light fills the hut. And she says, I see the deep, dark woods. And her voice echoes just like that throughout the hut. Great danger lurks there. Galdor hides in a lost chapel not far from the main path, but beyond the running stream. He keeps the talisman with him, but he is close to fulfilling his goal. You must hurry lest darkness be unleashed. And the silver light is blinding and then suddenly fades and she just collapses.
What? Did somebody get that? We should note this down. We should write this down. I will forget this.
I was stood near the enchantress. Could I try and catch her before she just face plants?
Sure. She feels very heavy, Ashflower, when you catch her. Much heavier than her body would indicate. It's just like complete,
Like
but you do it.
Heavy, yeah. Is this like heavy? Like this person is 100% unconscious heavy? Because Ashflower, he's moved a few corpses in his time.
I would say no, completely exhausted. Like she's kind of, eyes sort of flicker, and I mean she's barely conscious. There's more that whatever she feels a little bit as if her body has been filled with something that maybe is gradually beginning to, seep out.
Okay, so it's an additional, weight than the humanoid that I'm carrying. Okay.
Exactly. Cool. It is not the case, Giblix, that she is, and I quote, just a thick priestess. No, that is not the case. She is filled with power. So yes.
Okay, I'll rest her on either a sofa, bed, chair, whatever, so she doesn't smash her head on a coffee table and die. Okay.
She does have a bed there, so you can lay her down if you wish. And when you lay her down, she nods and says, "Hurry, I don't think you have much time."
I turn to the others. I say, "Where are we going again?"
To the stream.
Mm-hmm.
She was saying it's not the mainstream or something. Did anybody get it?
Chapel by the road, past the stream.
Something like that, right? Right?
Chapel by road, past stream. Okay.
But not the mainstream? Something like where an arm?
As the guide of the party, might I have an inkling where this is?
So
I hope so.
Not necessarily the way that
I don't get out much,
but she is able to, she's able to kind of murmur several things. It takes a couple of minutes, but basically you think what she's talking about is that, so you folks right now are about, you were about here. So that's where you found the hut. You traveled north a little bit, remember, to find the beetles in the, with the amaranth, and then you came back here. So the place that she highlights for you, basically, is, I'll put a little, that's a terrible X. That's not at all where she is. She doesn't do that. She's clearly exhausted and can't draw. Instead, what she puts down there is like that. That's better. So right about there in the midst of the Split Oak Woods, which you're not that familiar with, Reginald, except that you know that those are the common woods that people talk about when they talk about coming from the city. I traveled to the woods. There are other woods. There's the Fallen Giant Wood. There's the Throne Wood way to the northwest. But those other areas that you have to cross the running river to get to and whatever. There's other areas that you can do that are woods. But basically, when people in the city say, "I'm going to the woods," this is what they mean. And the Split Oak Woods are known for being dense and sometimes difficult, with a lot of mysterious creatures that live there, and some of the people that tell you they're going from the city to take a trip to the Split Oak Woods don't come back. So yeah. So you basically know where it is, but it's clearly risky. And in fact, why don't you make a lore check for me, please, Reginald? I'll give you a +1 to this check. Okay. And again, your difficulty you're trying to hit here is 14. So
okay, so that'll be a +5 with my lore bonus then.
Right. Quick note, by the way, to everybody, we're all starting with 1 light fate again, and I have got 4 dark fate for all of you. So
great success.
Great success. It is a great success. All right. So I'm just marking down light fate for everybody. Okay, good. Yeah, you've actually heard that the part of the forest that is that she's talking about is known to be inhabited by goblins, crafty goblins for sure, hungry giant spiders for sure, and other dark things. And that some of those dark things are things which never emerge into the light. They stay there for reasons. So, for what it's worth, there are creatures that have made their lair here for probably decades.
We don't have to go into the woods, right?
If you want to get to the
We
hut.
gotta go into the woods.
We didn't go into the woods. What? Okay.
That's where she pointed us.
No, there's a road. She pointed us to a road.
Which woods do you think the road goes through?
I think where you make a road, you take away the woods.
Oftentimes
Not
the road
Only if you're bad at it.
What? Okay, I have to admit I don't know much about roads.
Depends
But-
on the size of the road.
Yeah, I say a road,
Here we
by the
go.
way, is a
Someone
little
lives in the
optimistic.
woods.
This is like a path, not a road. But
Well, for your size, maybe. Okay. Well, let's go there. Let's go there and whack the guy. Gandalf, or
Gonna
whatever his
whack
name
the
was.
guy. And I'm the assassin.
So she, just before you leave, she...
We'll make him an offer he can't refuse.
Ooh, what are we gonna offer him?
I take out my dagger. I got something for him.
That's a pretty nice dagger, but I'm not sure it's gonna convince him to trade for his dead squishy
Oh.
wife.
I can be very convincing with my daggers.
Oh, I can watch it. I'm gonna offer him some booze then. I think that would have actually avoided the whole situation anyway.
Possibly.
How so?
Well, if instead of being like, oh my god, the only solution for this problem is to get my dead wife back, he would have just get like drunk and cried a lot. This might have been like a lot better for him and all of us.
Maybe, or maybe he just would have been drunk and angry looking for artifacts to bring his wife back.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be really good at it, which would also have helped.
Yeah, no, but he would also be wandering around with a magical WMD whilst also drunk.
I still think that's an improvement, but we will see. Maybe he's willing to get drunk. We will just find out, but we still need to go
Maybe
there.
we could encourage him to get drunk. I've got some.
Yes.
I've got a. I reveal like a poisoner's kit. Like maybe we could encourage him to get a bit drunk.
Yeah, let's do this, all of us.
My understanding is that things always work better when you get people drunk. They always make the best decisions at that time. So I think this couldn't go wrong.
I'm pretty sure the moment he realizes that he does get his wife back, but she's like, oh, well, you know how they are when they are dead for a long time. And we just like, here,
Bones.
take a sip of that. He will like, yeah, thank you.
I turn to Reginald. I'm like, I don't think she means that long. That's somewhere between fresh and stick-like.
She also, as you're leaving, kind of weakly points over at the shelf where there are some vials. And when you go over, you realize that she's offering you a couple of other things. Specifically, she has 2 healing potions that she's willing to give you. Now, a healing potion contains 1 dose, and a healing potion will heal either 1d6 life or 1 wound. And I believe it actually requires an action to take it if you're using it in combat. But there's 2 of those that you could distribute as you like. So 2 healing potions and 2 cure poison elixirs. Now, we haven't come across elixirs before, and the way that the elixir basically works is that an elixir, because you're being told, actually, you don't have to worry about that. I was going to say, if you've never seen it before, you have to identify it, but she's telling you what it is, so that's fine. So you just get the benefit, which is there are 2 of these cure poison elixirs. It immediately negates the effects of all poisons affecting a character. So life is not restored and wounds are not healed, but you don't take additional damage, and any ongoing effect from poison will end. So there's 2 healing potions and 2 cure poison elixirs, which she's willing to give you as well. So you folks can distribute them however you like.
Yeah, I'm not carrying that.
I think Reginald and Regina should take the cure life potions.
I'm not carrying that.
How big is this potion?
It's a vial, so it's the size
Are we talking
of
like
this
test
handy
tube
dandy
vial
now empty hand sanitizer bottle. You know.
I hold it up to Regina. I'm like, is this comfortable?
You could probably
Comfortable in what way? Shall I slip into it? Like, I can take a bath in it or something. But why?
Okay,
what?
I'll keep hold of this for now, and if you need it, let me know.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Can't carry a mule. Left mule at home.
I can carry a couple.
Yep.
Reginald takes one of the healing vials then.
Okay.
So was it heals 1d6, wasn't it?
Or a wound.
Or
Thank
a
you.
wound. So the cure poison elixirs. Did you say there was 2 of them as well?
2 of them, and each have enough for 1 dose, and it will immediately negate all effects of poison on a given person.
Yep. Cool. Or 1 wound for the healing potion. Do we have to worry about encumbrance?
When you get to a certain point, you do.
Okay.
At the moment, I've been keeping basic track. I don't think that you've run into this yet, but
Okay.
I'm always going to be more conscious of it with Regina in the party. Because
Well, as a table point as well, Reginald's carry capacity is super low too. Like I had to leave some of my starting equipment out to stay within limit.
oh, interesting.
We
Yeah.
should maybe actually point this out because I think it's actually very well done in this system. There is no weight, but there is load.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I can carry like my breastplate, which is like Regina sized, has like the appropriate load for her weight, which I think it's like a really cool system. But overall, I can carry like a lot. I just don't want to.
Yeah, everything's got like a 0.5
makes
or
sense.
1, or I think in some cases 2 as like a load value, rather than having to worry about like kilos or pounds.
Right. Oh my god.
And so an item might weigh, like 1 load, and a character might be able to carry 25 load or something like that. And so that's basically what we're looking at. It has some similarities a little bit to the Blades in the Dark system also, which uses a similar kind of load mechanic. So yes. Okay. So she also says that the journey she thinks is going to take you probably a couple of days, because getting into the woods is one thing, but that is a path, not really a big road, and so it's pretty dense. So there's going to be close in. I mean, I love forests, but if anyone's ever been inside a forest that is very close together, and you're trying to move through it, it's not fast, and it can often be very temperature-wise can be very hot, and can be uncomfortable and stifling in terms of the airflow, which is one of many reasons that Mirkwood was so well portrayed in The Hobbit, because straight up, that's what it's like if you've ever tried to walk through a dense forest. It's really, really can be difficult to do. So anyway, that's the nature of this forest. Assuming the party has got what they want, then we're going to move ahead to Act 3, which is called The Deep Dark Woods.
I did grab a health potion.
You did get one of the health potions.
I grabbed one.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
got
absolutely.
one.
So-
Reginald's got one.
Yeah, if I don't need to take one, I can actually heal anyway. So I don't need to take a health potion. So I think if Muriel and Reginald take a health potion, and then whomever can take the cure poison potion.
Okay.
Since we're just bringing it up, it's actually weird. If we're in the woods, I can heal if I succeed on checks. Like any checks, I can then heal as a result.
Yes, because of your particular.
Yes. When I roll a
Nice.
standard success or better on any test. On any test, I can spend a spell point and heal 1d3 plus 1. If I'm in a forest, I regain 1d6 plus resolve. So I can heal anywhere, basically, as long as I have spell points and I succeed any. It's like that smells like bacon. You've healed 3 hit points.
It's true.
Is
Although
that-
now
is
remember,
that a
those spell
ghoul
points
thing?
are a pool that you're using from.
yes.
So
Again,
it's
it's
resource.
elective,
Yeah, that's right.
but it's still nice.
Exactly, infinity. It's a solid block of thicket. Yeah, it's a lovely bush, really. Okay. So here we go with the Deep Dark Woods. And chat, for those who are here, thank you for the lovely turnout today. I hope you were enjoying yourself watching the crew of GOG, D&D with GOG streamers, but right now playing Talisman Adventures of Pyron Jade, Darksaber 2K, Peripheral Mike, and Tasty Chai. If so, I hope you will follow them in their various endeavors and on the channel here and elsewhere, and I hope you will support us. Thank you as well to our sponsor, Pegasus Spiele, for giving us this awesome game, and like for supporting and promoting and doing all that good stuff, and for supporting us with ArvCon, which is coming up a week from this Friday. Okay, so we're going to set up here for an exploration in just a minute, but I will say, first of all, that the path into the woods is actually not that far from the hut, because as I think I may have mentioned when you first came to the hut, this copse of trees was visible from the hut, like you could see where it was, and it takes you about maybe a little less than an hour to walk to where the woods are. And when you just immediately first enter, you enter on this weed-choked trail, which is marked on your map. A thick canopy of leaves quickly blots out the sun, and it soon becomes difficult to make out the path in the gloom. A light breeze carries the scent of damp earth. You can hear bird song and the buzz of insects all around you. So this is kind of the feel as you're entering. Which leads me to our exploration. Now, we did this on the way here, but I assume we're going to want to do this again, because we are, resetting up here for this particular journey. So we have, chat, for those of you not familiar, exploration rules, which require 3 different roles to be carried. Guide, Watcher, and Hunter. You don't have to fill all these roles, but it certainly helps when you can. So the guide, which was Reginald before, makes decisions about where to go and which trail to follow. And the time for the journey may change depending on how well the guide performs their job. And the Enchantress has told you that she thinks this is about a 2 to 3 day journey, is what she would assume, into the heart of these woods. That would be her guess. So that's the amount that we're doing, and so the guide can set the pace for travel. Are you staying as the guide, Reginald, for this?
It's law test against wits or survival test against insight, isn't it, according to my notes? Probably then, because I've got law with a +4 because of my wits.
Okay, so
unless anyone can equal or better that.
Okay.
I was the guy who lives in the city his whole 137 years best in the wilderness.
It's true.
I don't know. Then the guy who grew up in the Great Forest. I don't know.
It's very true. But you do have Boots the dog helping you, so let's keep in mind
that's true.
that you've always got a very good dog, very good boy helping you. All right, so Reginald is the guide. That leaves us with Hunter and with Watcher. The Watcher is essentially like the Scout, keeps a lookout for potential enemies, looking for tracks, scanning the horizon, and staying alert for the presence of others. This requires a notice wits test. So I don't remember, was it Regina that was the Watcher before, or were you the Hunter?
I was the Hunter.
You were the Hunter, okay. So maybe it was
No, Regina was the
Ashflower or
Hunter.
Muriel who was the Watcher, then I want to say? Okay. So who's going to do that this time?
I don't mind if Muriel wants to do it. I don't know what skills Muriel has.
Not those ones.
Okay, I'll do that then.
All right. So Ashflower is the Watcher.
Yeah, my wits are 3, so not great.
Okay.
Your
Wits?
Sorry,
What
did you
is
say your
wits?
wits at 3? Did you say yours is a 3?
Yeah, like wits.
Okay, mine's a
are...
2, so
Oh, really? Oh, shoot.
yes.
Well, okay. Maybe I
So
should
you
do
might be
that.
better off. You might be better off being the Watcher.
I might
Oh boy.
be. Yeah.
She's gonna see all the things, even the ones that aren't there.
Exactly. There's
Even ones that
snakes.
haven't happened
Snakes,
yet.
snakes. Yes, snakes in the air, in the sky. What are you? Is this a prophecy, or are there actually snakes?
Exactly.
Is this a
Like, are you
prophecy? When
sure
does
you
this
want me to
happen?
do
A
this?
week on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. You can never tell, like, whether it's like Thane in Mass Effect 2, who can like see like things happen in his past are also happening in his present. Have I told you the good news about Thane and what an awesome character he is? Anyway, okay. So Muriel is going to be the Watcher, it sounds like, which leads us to the Hunter, who forages and hunts for food as they travel. Regina, are you again going to take on the hunting?
I look at Ashflower. Do you want to do the hunting? Do you want to do the hunting? I can do the hunting, but you can do the hunting if you want to do the hunting.
Mechanically, how does hunting work? I'm asking
Survival.
that too of not,
Survival,
not
insight,
Regina.
or archery agility.
I can take archery agility because I have a boatload of points in agility. Wait, I don't have archery though, so that's unfortunate. Does that mean do I have to have the archery skill?
Yeah, because you can't really melee, like squirrels in the air.
Would you accept missile weapon?
No.
Okay, then you got this, Regina.
Yeah, I'd be really more
I got
survival.
this.
Hey, I get the easy job. I just get to chill out.
I got this.
Okay, so Regina is going to be the hunter.
I'm going to be the hunter, like totally going to be the hunter. This is going to be fun.
Okay. Okay, so as we get underway here, let me make sure I don't have any special things that we've got going on here. So that means on our first day, the guide is going to be the one who's going to be making a test. And so the guide is going to be making a lore, wits, or survival insight against difficulty 14. Now I want to check that for a second because I may modify that difficulty. Yeah, I'm going to modify that difficulty precisely because you're not from the forest, Reginald. So I'm going to jump that up to 16. So your difficulty is 16 that you're trying to hit with your test. And
just out of curiosity, is that a Dark Fate modifier or just a?
No, that's a me modifier. That's
okay.
That's not Dark Fate. Although now that I think of it, adding Dark Fate 35. God damn it! No, I wouldn't do that.
Who keeps giving the DM inspiration?
How is this possible? Okay, no. That's a me modifying it because they do have a section here that says to modify based upon the circumstances, and I think it's pretty clear that this is a circumstance that would fit, especially because the denseness of the wood and so on. Your density.
Right.
So I need you to make then a check, please.
How nervous about this difficulty do I feel? Nervous enough to use my light fate?
That's a good point. It's a good question.
I think no.
Okay.
Use it or lose it.
I might need it to get out of whatever failing this roll causes.
Also, one other
Okay.
character.
Yeah.
I should say that one other character can assist the guide, and I just want to double check this quickly, because that might mean, Mike, that Ashflower could possibly could help out a little bit. So let me take a look here. So the assist action.
How do that?
Would be, let's see.
Assist.
I don't want this in combat.
I know woods. Clearly not very well, but I know woods.
Let's see.
Not as good as City Boy over here, but I know woods.
40, that's what I thought. Okay.
It's the urban jungle.
Oh.
Okay. So you must have an appropriate skill. So if you want to assist here, the question would be, do you have survival, or do you have lore, you said, right? Which is what I think Reginald is using,
Nope,
or are you using
I do not
survival?
have lore. No.
Oh, you don't have lore. Okay.
I don't have lore. I also don't have survival either.
Then you can't assist, so never mind.
Okay, cool. Sorry, dude.
It's the thought that counts.
Yes.
Okay, then.
Yes.
I'm just going to roll this at 3d6 plus 4, then.
Okay.
That's a 13.
Okay. So that is a no. This is the situation that this affects. As you move along, Reginald, you find yourself more and more confused by not just the denseness of the woods, but by the fact that everything seems to look the same. You know, you've got green bushes, and you're like, you swore you saw that tree that was gnarled in exactly the same way last time, and you're like, in the graveyard, everything's so obvious, like everything's marked for your convenience. You have the names right there, like you know. But here, everything is just like looks like everything else, and you're just like, I don't understand the deal, like what this is about. And so as a result, you run into some trouble here. Now let's see. Did you... I will give you an opportunity, though. Right now, you're missing, at the moment, you're delayed because you get sort of lost. However, I'm going to give you an opportunity here, but there's going to be a cost to it. So, as you are traveling along, Hold on a second. As you're traveling along, there's an incredibly loud motorcycle right outside. Totally. Okay.
Motorcycle gang arrives.
As you're traveling along, you do see one area where the woods look to be somewhat lighter. And it looks like an area that you could probably, if you got there, you would assume be in an area where there'd be more light. And that would certainly help because you could at least see where the hell people could all see where they're going and whatever. The problem is that there is a massive tree that is currently covering with a bunch of foliage grown over it. It's been fallen for a long time. That's blocking the area beyond which you can see that it's lighter. So I will give you the opportunity to cross over it, but I want you to know that it is hazardous and you're going to have to roll to overcome a hazard, and that could cause consequences if you fail at it. So you basically can either take the extra day. It was supposed to take 3 days. Now we're looking at an extra day of travel. Or you can be like, you know what? We got to keep going. We're going to chance it even though there's this hazard. And that's not just a decision for you. You can let the party know and decide what they want to do.
Which I will do so. Is I pretty sure I've gone in a circle. Probably lost a day. Might be a shortcut that way. I point at the log.
Oh, we go that way, apparently. Yes. And then you don't go in circles anymore and everything is fine.
Can't really see what's over there, though.
More woods, maybe?
Probably a certainty.
So the...
No, it's definitely a Walmart. It's over there. We can get there. It'll be fine.
Okay. Muriel says it's a wombat over there, so we go.
Pretty sure this is more of a drop bear wood.
Well, then we go... Well, but the tree is fallen, so the bear is fallen too.
I just look at all of you three and I'm like, are you speaking in code? Did we decide a code and I wasn't involved?
No, there's a wombat. Come on.
Okay, we can eat wombats. Everybody is hungry?
I could eat.
Can you actually eat wombats?
Reginald smirks and doesn't get hungry.
I can eat for show. I don't necessarily need to eat.
I mean, I'll eat, but I don't know that I've ever had wombat.
I never had
guess there's
wombat,
only
I
one
have
time.
to admit, but I think it's like just like any other kind of bat, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Has the party decided to cross
So,
over the log?
but why are
party
you worried
doesn't
about
know.
that? Why are you worried about that fallen tree?
Mm.
Okay. Well then, let's go.
Maybe we should go carefully, just in case. Like cautiously, with caution, perhaps.
I will flutter extra silently.
If we wish, I could use the trees for cover and try and see if there's anything near that fallen tree.
Keep your eyes up for them drop bears.
I glance up a bit at the canopy, like, okay, I'll keep an eye out for drop bears.
Okay, now to cross this, you have some options. You could try to I'm just going to give you the ones that are obvious. You could try to climb over it, and climbing over it would be an athletics check for you to be able to do that. You could theoretically, well, going around it is the same problem. So because you got like very thick on either side, I'll take pitches from people if you have another way that you're thinking of to cross it. Regina probably, because of the flight, would have not too much difficulty with this, but there's a problem, Regina, which is that the leaf cover is so dense that you can't really fly that high above it because there's all of this foliage above it as well. So literally you just like bang into the leaves and you'd have to like climb through the leaves anyway. So it works out to the same thing for you. So you can also do an athletics check to cross over it if you wish to do that, climb over it. But if anyone has another idea of how they want to get past it, I'm certainly open to suggestions.
If I see that Ashflower should come into any trouble going over that tree, I will try to go over the tree. But until then, I'll just stay here and flutter.
Okay. So Ashflower is going to try to cross it by climbing over it then, as I understand it, Ashflower?
There's a certain air of cockiness to him at this point, because he's like, I've climbed over trees before, I got this.
Okay.
Like, if he had sleeves, he'd roll them up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Muriel and Reginald, are you staying to see what happens with Ashflower? Or are you going to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Duck and cover.
Okay. So all the... so just to be clear, all the spotlight, all the pressure falls squarely on Ashflower. Just want to point out, camera zooms in just on Ashflower.
He's used to this.
Yeah.
It's fine. He is the protagonist of his own story. It's fine.
That's true.
So, going back to the amazing flowchart that Pierre and Jade made for us, do I have the skill, athletics? Yes. Do you also have a focus in this skill that fits the situation? No. So roll 3d6 and add my aspect. What's the aspect for athletics? Anybody know off the top of their head?
So it says it's an athletics brawn test, which would be strength, would be the aspect, almost certainly.
Strength. Fantastic. So 3d6 plus 4.
What's up, Kilgore? Yeah, exactly. The flow chart of success. Exactly.
Yeah, page 51's got the list of skills with the most common aspects that they
Excellent,
use.
man. I knew you'd have that on point. So what I also want to just point out is the fact that flowchart is incredibly useful, and I wish there were more flowcharts like that in the actual book itself. I know there's probably not going to be like a version 2.0 or anything. Like we're not like a focus group.
There might be. I mean,
well, you never know. But like coming from a purely D20 D&D background, the idea of it's a D6 system, everyone seemed to just understand what a D6 system was, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. So being able to visualize, because I'm a very visual learner, being able to visualize what I need to do at certain points, chef's kiss moment. And just as a personal touch to Pierre and Jade, there is not a letter wasted on that. That is the most efficient flowchart I think I've ever seen in my life.
I might try knocking one up for Light Fate as well, because there's a flow to when and how you can use them too.
That's a really good shout. Any more stuff like this, especially myself, I don't know if it'll help anybody else, but that helps me immeasurably. So 3d6 plus 4.
That's the skill chart that we're talking about, Chet.
As somebody who has looked into skill checks like a lot, for athletics, climbing, it's brawn, and brawn is the
is the aspect, right?
The thing you're looking, the aspect you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, what do we got? So we've got a 6. Let's see. Right, because I didn't give you the difficulty for it. I actually would have given this a 14. I think that's enough. And of course, you also get it's a great success because of the 2 and the 2, and you get a Light Fate because of cha-ching, because of the Kismet
I'm just
die.
Gonna push out one of my Light Fate tokens that came with the book. One of these bad boys right here. I've not even opened yet.
So, what I would say that does is you were able to cross over it, and you basically find a path through it. And what I'll say is that because you were able to do that, you're able to determine 2 things. First of all, although there are many things that move and scurry through the wood, you don't see anything in particular that's threatening you. But you do notice a path which it will probably be easier for your compatriots to take than the one that you took. Like, if you can see how like the branches are woven together such that if they go on this and then go up here and go through this and go the other, then you can get to the other side, and you can see that indeed past this area in front of you, now that you're on top of this massive tree, in front of you, you can see that the forest is considerably lighter and less dense and a little bit easier to see, for sure.
Okay. Cool. I will kind of motion towards the clearer path to everybody without saying anything. I'll kind of raise my hand to them and then motion them towards the clearer path.
And so all of you are going to have to make the same check, but you're going to get a +2 because Ashflower has shown you the path.
Yeah. Well, what was it again? Athletics,
which is a brawn aspect.
That's just a flat 3d6 for me then. Plus how much? Sorry.
+2.
+2. Okay.
I want you to show me the way.
I did not do well.
Okay. So, all right. So Muriel and Reginald, you're like, all right, here's the path. you can do, and like as you're like Ashflower, as you're down there, you're like, no, this.
We get an additional plus what from Ashflower?
+2. Additional +2. So, and Muriel just had a flat because she doesn't have that one. So, well,
5.
so yeah.
Oh no.
Yep. So all 3 of you are like, we get it. Oop, like bash head in the like branches. And Ashflower, I imagine you're like, it's right. You get no left. No, that. What are you? Why?
No, not that way. No.
And the rest of you are just. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to climb a pine tree. I have, but number one, the needles are sharp as freaking bleep. Like they hurt. Okay. Secondly, it's sticky from the sap, so it's like you're trying to climb up, and like the sap is getting on your hands, and like it's just. It's so. You know, this sucks. It's just bad, and so you get like a couple of branches up, and then you're like, this is not happening. So Ashflower can travel ahead of the party and get there 3 days early. No, I'm just kidding. The rest of the party is.
I'm just laughing because I just turned back to my druid section in the book, and one of the paragraphs is called "One with the Land."
Mm-hmm.
Rub it in, book.
I would question that part of your ancestry. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh, questioning my ancestry, are you?
Just that
Says
part
the
of it.
guy with antlers.
Just that part of it. Yes, and hooves too. What of it?
I'll just shout over the tree. It's not working out.
Your voice echoes out. Actually, no, you're inside dense forest, so it falls. Your voice falls deadly on the leaves. But Ashflower, you're kind of like, you're there, and they're there.
The tree, you said like it still has like leaves and stuff, so it's still alive?
Mm-mm. No, it's long since dead. But there are many trees and vines and so on that have grown around it and on top of it. So those are the ones you see.
I'm getting angry. Do I see a nice big tree close to me?
Oh, I mean, you see nothing but nice big trees close to you.
Okay, I go to the next tree and I kick it.
Okay.
And then I say to it, hey, tree, I need a way around this. Where do I go?
The tree regards you silently.
You know that I can speak with trees, right? I have the special ability.
Maybe I forgot that.
I'm seriously talking to the tree now.
Okay, hold on.
Nobody in the party knows that I can talk to trees, so they just see me.
I forgot actually myself.
I
just listened to them.
Yeah, so tell us about the speak with tree, because I forgot that you had that.
I have Earth Speaker because I'm a sprite, and I can speak with plants and trees, but I don't always understand their answer. If they answer really cryptical, it might require a decipher check, which I very consciously didn't take as a skill.
Okay, so you kick the tree. Let's be clear about the order of events.
Yeah, I go to the tree, and then I angrily scream at it.
Okay, so you hear this whooshing in the wind, and then you're sort of looking at it, and then something hurtling down from the top bangs you on top of the head. You are going to take 1 point of life damage, and you see that it is a very large and suspiciously strong-looking acorn. Hard to imagine that acorn fell off on its own.
Okay, I pick up the acorn, I look at the tree, still angry, and say, I'll take your baby with me now, and then I fly off with the acorn.
Okay, the tree doesn't do anything. Its bark is considerably worse than its bite, apparently. All right. Okay, so you do that. So Regina comes back with a little bit of a lump on her noggin and holding an acorn angrily.
Thanks, but I'm not hungry.
Is there anything I can do to help in this situation? Like, is there anything?
What have you got in your pack?
Help people.
How would
I
you
have
picture
rope.
them? Okay.
That's
A
pretty
rope.
much what I've got. I've got rope, poisonous kit, an antitoxin kit, some water, some rations, tinderbox. I could set the forest on fire.
That's one solution.
Other than that, it's stuff that kills people.
So you could use if you use the rope, I will allow the 3 party members another check because they're using your rope. This rope, however, is not going to give them the +2 they would have had before, but it at least gives them another shot.
Yep. Okay. So I will lower the rope down, to the others so that they can try again.
Okay.
Okay.
I kind of make a motion of one at a time.
Okay.
You can see that Regina is absolutely not like used to the concept of climbing up a rope. So I'll go last.
I was actually waiting till last because I wasn't sure Regina was used to the concept of letting someone else go first.
Yeah, exactly, Lone Wolf. Deep Forest Most Wanted. Chat now has this idea that it's like your acorn napping. This never ends well. Yeah. Okay, so whoever's going. So who is going first?
Forest version of an Amber
I guess
Alert.
that means I'm going.
It's a sap alert. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You are. So you want to go first, Muriel? So then it would be again same check that you made before. This is without the +2 though. So it's just your 3d6. I think is what it would be. Well, so
Great.
how does it look as you scramble up the rope or try to?
I reached for the rope and missed, and then I reached for it just a little bit further and then missed again. And then I just try to jump for it and end up falling flat on my face because I just can't reach it.
Okay, that's Muriel's experience. Let's see how Reginald.
I look at Marie and I was like, it's not your fault. I'm pretty sure it's the tree's fault. They are mean.
You hear another acorn whistles past your head, Regina, narrowly missing you.
I'll go look for the other acorn now.
Okay. So
I'm taking that one with me as well.
This is bounty. I love each one of these is going to end up being a load. You know, eventually I will load you down with acorns one way or the other. Okay, Reginald, you're. Are you heading up next or trying to?
Yeah. So it's just 3d6 now, no bonus.
Yes. Yeah, the trees are going to develop a new language to plot against Regina. Exactly. If you've read The Two Towers, you know the drill. Don't mess with trees. Aha. So this would be a success, but the difficulty you're trying to beat, as I mentioned, is 14. So instead, you do get onto the rope, I would say. But what does it look like after that, Reginald, as you're trying to climb up the... You know, you're close.
Reginald doesn't do a lot of climbing, so he pulls more of the rope down towards himself without getting very far off the ground. So he's just standing there going,
You just
rope's broken.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this
it's just
actually
going
works.
through my hands. I'm just like, I didn't think this through with a goal.
All right,
Okay.
Regina, are you going to give this a shot?
Yeah, but she hasn't learned anything from the other two apparently because, you know,
Yes.
how
Right.
this was like still very mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go.
In Dungeons and Dragons, it's always a door this happens with. In Talisman, it's climbing over a tree.
Climbing over a tree. So we got a 3, a 2, and a 2, huh? And a 3. So you're like, how does it look, Regina, as you try to climb up this rope?
So I'm not letting go of the acorns. So I'm like more or less grabbing the acorns with each arm, grabbing the rope with my feet, and then try to like fly up while still keeping contact with the rope. And I just get like the weight shifting to behind and just like make kind of a looping backwards. And then I'm again like in front of the rope.
Right, and I would imagine you do that, and then a second later, an acorn falls in your lap. It's like doink on top of it. So Ashflower, this is not happening.
Tune in next week for Dungeons and Dragons.
And that's our show. No, it's not.
I don't really know what else. Okay, I'm gonna look around to see if there's any additional paths that my colleagues can climb up, or how far away are they? Like,
Oh
could I reach them?
no.
No?
It's
Okay.
it's like 25, 30 feet up probably. You can
Okay.
barely see them because there's a lot of leaf cover up there, so you're just kind of like peering down somewhat. This is an enormous tree that's
I was
on
gonna
its
say,
side.
this is a pretty big tree. Then,
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
huge. Or, you know, dead now, but used to be a tree.
Yeah. So how, like, if we can't go over it, if they can't get over it, could they go around it?
Yep. And if they go around it, that's where we're back to the losing the day. Reginald saw that path too. There's no other unique way to get around this because the foliage is just so thick to either side.
And this is not to sound daft, this is a solid tree, right? There's no like burrows in it. There's no like hollowed out sections anywhere.
Yeah, even though it's dead, it's so big that it's been around for a while. It's not newly fallen, but it doesn't look like it's been fallen for like decades and decades, but it's definitely been fallen for a few years because there is, as I said, other foliage growing on it and stuff. But it definitely is not rotted out in the middle, at least not where you could get to it. Now, you could, try to start working on chopping through it, but that's going to take you literal weeks, to do that.
Yeah, we may as well just go around.
Right.
The only thing I could do is try and look for an alternative path to, like, that's where all my skills are. So if there's literally nothing, then oh well.
Right. That could happen. I think we lost Pyron.
Oh, we lost Perry.
We will get her back shortly, I think. So yeah, you're saying you could do that, Muriel, or no?
I would be willing to try. I have wits and insight. That's where my stuff is. So
I'm down to one of two choices at this point, and both involve using my light fate. Yeah. So I can give myself keen senses or claws.
Sorry.
It's okay. Just give me a second. As we adjust, still don't understand why Zoom does this. It's just like they let you move around windows, and then they're just like, now we'll confuse everything. Like, why am I doubled? Don't put me up there. I am not here. Ignore me. Go away. Don't ever go away. All right, there we go. Almost right, but not quite. Okay, fortunately, I'm just going to adjust it in OBS because it's just much easier. Someday, Zoom. Someday you'll be a real grown-up thing.
No clue what happened. My router wasn't showing anything, but my whole internet was gone.
That's cool, no problem. All right.
So, at this point, because I'm not 100% sure what I can do in this situation, other than just climbing back down and we'll all go around.
Yeah, that may be the case. I mean, you could go ahead of them, but you'd be like well separated from them.
Yeah, that's true. I'd be separated by quite a substantial amount. So,
Yes.
If this isn't gonna work, I'm open to suggestions from anybody, like the team, chat, of anything like that. But otherwise, I'm just gonna start contemplating about climbing back down.
yeah, I could just try and find an easier route, maybe that wouldn't require such an athletics check or something like that, or an alternative route altogether. But that's kind of all I could do.
Yeah, I say I could use animal features to get keen senses, which gives me a bonus die for a notice check. Or, and this is more of dependent, I could use claws and see if they helped me, but the book lists them as an attack specifically.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking, well, cats use claws for climbing.
Yeah, but I don't think they're designed to do that in particular. They're designed to slash, but not necessarily to hold on and grip. Climbing claws even look a little bit different. So,
yep. Then it's the keen senses is my only option.
Yeah, and I think
it looks like I'm climbing back down.
Yeah. Okay. So what that means is that you have been delayed for a day. So it's supposed to take 3 days. So and this is day 1. So it's going to be another 3 days beyond this. So in the process of doing this is going to lead us to camp, which means that let me just take 1 second also to look at what we have with these encounters with this. Okay. So what I am going to ask folks to do is when to camp, and it gets darker, of course, within the woods because there's not a lot of access to, you can't see that well. So it's always kind of even a dark green at best. And as it begins to get darker and darker, you realize that it's probably moving towards dusk outside. You eventually have to start thinking about camping. I will say that we'll make this, let's say, let me see if I want to make this a routine. I think it's a little bit more than routine. All right, I'm going to say that this test for camping is going to be... I'm going to say this is a moderate test, which means that we're looking at, get ready for it, 14, which is going to be the difficulty level. I think it's moderate because of the nature of where you are and the fact that no one's really super familiar with this particular area. So what I need is for one character, it doesn't have to be the guide, it can be any of you, to make a survival, which is insight, test to find a place to set up camp.
I got you guys.
This is you, Muriel. So you're going to be doing that survival insight, and you're looking for a 14. So using the handy dandy trademarked skill check, do you have the skill, Muriel?
I have the skill. I don't have the specialization.
All right, so that means that it's, yes, you have the skill, but no, you don't have a focus, so you roll 3d6 plus aspect, and we've got insight there to see what we get. It's a 17. All right. So yes, that is definitely a success. And that means that you are able to find a suitable place. Basically, it's a spot which is underneath sort of the shadow of this leaning tree, which is upright but leaning over. And there are, because there's so many bushes and areas around it, it's almost as if there's like a little tent that's been set up, like a natural tent, below where this tree is leaning. So you should be able to get in there, you think, with fair amount of cover from those that would be around, if that's what you want to do. So I then have to decide.
Yes.
Okay. So then I have to decide about whether or not there's going to be an encounter. As the GM of this game, I roll way fewer times than I would if I were doing Dungeons & Dragons, because it's all about the players. But this is one case where I am rolling to see if there is an encounter. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Okay, and you had a success, which means... Okay, that's actually... that's good, because if you had had a failure on that one, then that would have meant that you would have had an encounter. But because of this, you do not. And so that means that you are shielded from the elements in the area for the rest of that day. Are you, by the way, as the hunter, Regina, are you going to do any hunting for food? Because if not, you're going to need to use a ration for sustenance. So if you...
I'll hunt.
Okay. So I need you to make a survival, otherwise known as insight, or archery with agility test.
Nope. I took the exile background, which gives me a special ability hunter.
Oh, right.
And I can just choose a standard test instead of rolling, and a standard success instead of rolling.
Now,
so
let me
I
ask
choose
you
a
this.
standard...
Before you say that, though, let me just ask you this. If you get a standard success, that means that you'll be fed. If
Yes.
you take the test and you got a great success, though, you could find additional rations for your compatriots.
That might be, but we have two that don't eat. And so I think we will all be able to take care of Muriel, even if we only, because it only means we use one ration per rest as long as 3 of us are fed.
That's well said. Okay. So you have successfully hunted and found food for yourself. That means that Muriel's going to need to use, as a group, you'll need to use a ration. How many rations does the party have right now, by the way? Because she gave you a few rations leaving, so...
Yeah, I had 1 to begin with. I believe I had 1. However many rations a gold gets me. Oh no, you said that was like a week's worth.
A week's worth, right. So you would have had, but
Right.
you've used a few in your travels, because it took you about 2 days to get there. So I would say that you have 5 of those rations left, unless, because I don't think the hunting brought you any rations. So I think it was just, I think you were at 5 is what you were looking at.
Yeah. And I do joke about Ashflower not really needing to eat that much because he's a kind of a magical creature, but I think the jury is actually out on the fact whether or not Lightwalkers actually need to eat or not.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
Neither am I.
So for now, we're going to say 5 rations for that. But you were given, before you left, an additional 2 rations by the Enchantress. So so you could use one of those rations, Muriel, if you want, like one of the extra rations you were given, and that would leave 1 ration left over, if you wanted to do that. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a great plan. Sorry, someone's trying to push on my keyboard.
I understand. Okay, so 1 ration it is. Okay, so
I will also spitefully roast one of the acorns.
okay, it makes a cracking sound. The trees lean ominously over you as it creaks and cracks. You hear chittering in the woods. The darkness seems to grow closer. Multiple eyes appear out of the darkness, gazing at you.
Yeah, then I eat the acorn.
They get even closer. Even gets more ominous.
I kind of lean back a bit and I go, I'm not with her.
I'm not with her.
These people.
Okay.
I'm not with her. I don't know these people.
They're just on the same bus as I am. I don't know what to say.
I mean, you say friends, they're more acquaintances.
Okay.
I've known them for
Oh, I
less
thought
than a
we
week.
were besties.
I've known you lot for less than a week.
Oh, come on. You thought I was weird.
I thought you were unusual. There's a difference.
So
Minor details.
So the night
really.
passes rather uneventfully, and thanks to the security. And on day 2 of the 4 days that this is going to take, you get up to commence again. And this is again going to be another test for you, Reginald, as we start again. So again, this is lore, wits, or survival insight, and your target that you're looking at is difficulty 14.
Hang on. Let me double check. Yeah, lore +4. Well then, how's a 555 take your fancy?
That is an extraordinary success.
Is that the first of the campaign?
No, it's the second.
The second, because you found one before, and it was the one that led you to the castle with the goblins, actually.
Ah, yes.
So you find a shortcut, Reginald, about probably early afternoon, you would guess, as everyone's in a bad mood, presumably from walking through all the, insects and just everyone's sweaty and hot, and it's
Absolutely.
all,
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving this forest. I mean, it's a bit closer than the Great Forest, but it's absolutely wonderful.
That's fair enough. Yeah, you're probably like, this is awesome. But most people, most of your compatriots are not on board with all this until you get to this part where you actually find through the trees, you find a couple things that are of interest to you. So, I would like, let's see.
Did I heal that 1 life point, by the way?
Let me double check. Let's see if you do. I got 3 things that I'm looking at. Hold on. Okay, so yes, that is recovered while you are healing, while you are resting. So since that was a long rest, and since you had uninterrupted rest, yes, you're able to get that back. So, what I am going to do is I am going to talk about what it is that you see. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have Saber do this. Saber, roll 2d6 for me, please.
Just a flat 2d6.
Just flat 2d6. There's no kismet or anything on this one.
11.
Okay. But I'm actually looking more. Did you roll 6-5 or 5-6?
6 and then 5.
Okay. So. Okay. You find this area that is clearly been cleared, and it's been sort of moved around at some point, and cleared. And you can see that there are some chopped down, clearly, obviously chopped down trees and stacked in this area. And you can see a number of stumps. So there's been a good deal of work here. There's obviously one or more woodsmen that are working to clear out this part of the forest. And so that means, A, you're able to see more. But the other thing that you're able to note is you can hear, as you sort of peer through and see this, you can hear, oh, God dang it all. It may be out there. Oh, well, crap on a stick then. And just like says, like, it starts swearing and then like saying some other things. But the swears are all of that variety. They're just like, well, poopy pants then. Like that kind of thing. Like very, this sort of low, wavery voice that's coming. You can't quite see it, except you can see that it's coming from a little bit down and off the path that you see that it's been cleared out. So first of all, the cleared out means that you're going to get that day back. So that's nice. But the second thing is that there's this voice that you hear.
I point at the cleared path. That's more like it.
Yeah, down with the trees.
An excellent find, friend. Wait, what was that? What about the trees?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you should say that. They're listening.
Yeah, I know.
This dang dreaded, stupid, dreaded, rotten hellfire. Stupid.
That doesn't sound like
that's not a tree.
Nope, that's not a tree. They usually speak more in riddles.
Rotten, stinking, poop, and poop.
Maybe you're rubbing off on them.
No, they don't know even about poop. That it's not a topic for them. It's
Helps them grow strong.
Sorry? Helps?
Poop helps them grow strong.
Yeah. Maybe. I haven't really delved into that. I don't know. Well, let's have a look who's pooping on a stick over there.
Stinky poop.
I mean, they are completely into that topic, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, they're committed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll fly forward.
Okay. You don't have to go too far, Regina, before you see that there is a very strong-looking, muscular person with their back turned to you, human apparently, or human-sized anyway, with what looks like kind of a leather, it's not leather armor, more like a leather tunic. And they have, basically lying at their feet next to them is this very well-worn axe, which you can see even from here has some notches in the blade. And right now you can see that they are bent over and are looking what looks like pulling some branches up from a fallen tree, a tree which perhaps they helped fell, and are looking underneath it. And while it's not here, poop, stinking poop. Frellin, stupid crap, garbage crap. So they're like still yelling, and they seem to be looking for something. They have not yet noticed you.
I look behind me. Are my comrades right behind me?
Are the comrades
Pretty
right
much.
behind you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lumberjack. I've heard about them.
I wonder if he's okay.
He's all right.
So far they are making so much noise that they can't hear when you say it's a lumberjack. But I am curious if you're going to be like, you're going to be doing that.
Hello.
And he's like,
Mr.
I'm okay. I sleep all night. Anyway, I got to. So you say that, and sort of startled, the person jerks up and turns around, and you can see that it is not a man. It is a very strong, muscular female, looking like a human female, and bare arms, sweat glistening, looks like, and it's a woman of middle years, you think. And she says, Oh, sorry, you startled me there. But what are you doing in here? This forest is dangerous, 'tis.
Yeah, it's the trees, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose. It's not just that, though. It's all the things around them. Creatures, boars, Goblins even, I've heard. And I've seen spiders too. Not that they come anywhere near me, but I've heard them around. You ought to take care. Who are you?
Okay.
And like for the first time, she notes like the composition of your party, like you and a ghoul and a lay walker and she's like, and a wood elf and an elf, and she's like, So she kind of is like, who are you all?
We're the party.
We're the party.
You're the what?
You
I
know
don't
the
see
party.
any party. I got no time to party.
Oh, that's sad.
That's okay, because we're the party. We're just passing through.
Have you tried booze?
What? I got no time for drinking. What is this madness?
Okay. Well, that's fine. This explains it. We're just like passing through.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Well, listen, I'm all right. We're passing through. Why'd you even come in here in the first place? Trying to cut wood?
No,
The other route was blocked.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, back maybe six leagues or so back there. Yeah, yep. It's hard to get through there. Hard to get anywhere in Split Oak, unless you know where you're going, of course. Oh, not that it matters though. Can't find anything you need either. And she seems distraught again, kind of looking around at her feet.
I turn to Ashflower. What's a party?
I couldn't tell you.
What are you missing?
Well, well, I don't know if you can do anything to help. It's a necklace. It's kind of important to me, see? It's connected to me and my daughter, and, well, I lost it a few days ago. I was walking with her through these woods, and then I can't find it, and I thought I'd come back. I work here anyway, and I haven't been able to find it now for hours. That's what I'm missing.
Maybe we can help you find it.
Wow. All right, I'd appreciate the help. Well, what are you doing here, though? You're just passing through to where?
To somewhere else.
And she's kind of like, now listen. Oh, you can't catch Bailey like that. I know in your eyes that you've got something. I can see it. You're trying to get somewhere inside these woods. Now, where? No one comes into these woods unless they've got either two things, a death wish or an axe. Or the third thing, which is looking for something.
Have you... Well, I mean, you're like going through these woods. Have you maybe seen a priest?
A priest?
Yeah.
No. There's the old chapel, but I haven't seen anyone near the old chapel of late.
Well, we're looking for a wayward priest.
And a chapel.
At the chapel. Because they attract priests.
Well, with all respect, it's difficult these days unless you focus on yourself. But that locket's got me so bewildered, I must say. If you'll help me find it, I'll take you by secret paths to the chapel. I'll find you a place that can lead you right there. Shortcuts that no one knows. In fact, I even made one of them myself. And she reaches down and picks up the axe. Now, this is a big axe, and she picks it up with ease. Like you see her muscles rippling on her left arm, and she's like, I'll be happy to do what I can, I will. And like grabs her handle of the axe. But first, you need to help me find it.
How does it look like?
Yeah, if you're willing to show us a way, we'll help.
Well, you see, it's a thin silver chain, it is. And it's a locket. It's got a picture of me and my daughter inside it. And if you were to find it, well, I'd be most grateful. It's not that big a locket, that's the problem. And next time I need to make sure that I put something heavier. Thick leather twine or rope, or she gets clearly is a little vague on how one wears, jewelry. You get the impression that's not what she usually does.
Are there like
something
birds
strong
or something around here?
There are.
I will invoke my speak with animals and ask a bird.
Okay.
If they've seen it.
Maybe like a magpie or something.
Yeah, a bird that really is into shinies.
Yeah. Okay. So when you do that, and I'm just going to take a look quickly to make sure that I know whether or not it speaks back to you or what it actually does. Not this one, basic one. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, that's basic one. No, what is it? Where is that an ability? It's not a spell?
Yeah, it's an ability.
Okay. So, the bird, so you look around and you do find, in fact, like a magpie, basically. And you speak to it. And what do you ask it? Like, have you seen a locket? Or what do you say?
Hello, Mr. Magpie. I was wondering if you have seen something delightfully shiny. A necklace, perhaps, around this forested area. Somewhere that glints and glimmers and is just so pretty.
And it goes, ah! And kind of whistles and caws, and then kind of hops around, and then sort of tilts its head and looks at you. And then sort of looks up and then takes to the sky, or not the sky, although it is lighter here because of all the wood cutting that's been done, but sort of flies around a little bit, and then goes down the path a decent ways before it starts heading towards the darkness of the woods again on the other side of the clearing. So it heads down in that direction and kind of flies down and circles around a particular spot where there's a lot of branches and scrub brush and stuff like that, and then whoosh, flies off.
Follow the bird. Follow the bird where he stops, and then stop.
I follow the bird.
Okay, so Regina goes running off after the bird in some other direction entirely. Or I should say flying off after the bird. The bird flies past the tree cover, Regina, so at a certain point you're going to be lost from your party or will bash your head into the tree cover once you get far enough away, because the bird vanishes into the edge of the clearing.
Okay.
So, the rest of you, where are you going to?
We're going to where it's circled.
Okay. Okay. I'll come back to Regina in a minute. Okay. I would like all of you who are there to make a notice, this is wits, test. And you're trying to beat difficulty 15.
Notice wits.
I got 15 with a 6 on the Kismet.
Okay, with a light fate for you.
I got a 15. Is that a great success with doubles?
It is a great success.
I also got a great success.
Wow, so you're all like, there! Okay. So I can't wait to go back to Regina in just a minute.
We're all 15, 15, and 15. That's amazing.
Exactly. So, all of you find below. So, first of all, this is funny because what it actually says is that a standard success is the character finds the locket, but something or someone else found it first. And great success is the character finds the missing locket. So the way that we do that is that I would say that both Reginald and Ashflower are like, there's the locket, and Muriel's already holding it. Like, at that point, you're just like, you found it. Muriel's like, I do. So you found the locket. And so you look and you can see that it's the silver chain on which it's suspended is broken, but there is the looped chain kind of looped around it, and then the locket itself at the end of the chain.
All right, I start making my way back to return it.
Okay, and Bailey kind of walks up and sees you and is that? Do you have it? Do you have it?
We do. We found it. Is this it?
Yes, that's it. Oh, bless you, my child. I can't believe it. Look here. And she clicks open the locket, and you can see that it's her, and she has her arm around this young girl, and she says, "Oh, that's my daughter. Well, of course, she's a lot older now than she used to be. But that was the way she looked long time ago, and I've always kept it close to me. And there we were taking a walk, and then we lost it. Oh, I'm so grateful. I can't even tell. Where's the sprite that was with you?"
Probably kicking trees.
Oh, she followed the bird. And she kind of, he says, I perhaps will find her on the way. You did a good turn for me, and I'll do a good turn for you. I can bring you down to the chapel. Well, not right to it. I can bring you down to the stream right before it. Then you're going to have to get over that stream somehow, but I can bring you a lot closer. If you kept going in the direction that you were aiming at, you would have been days wandering through this forest. Here, just a moment. Let me just grab my insurance. And she goes back, and then she picks up the axe, which just, again, settles into her arm. Like, even the strain of her muscles seems to fit the sort of curvature of the outside blade of the axe. And
I love the idea that when she picks the axe up, it makes like a shotgun reloading noise.
Yeah, exactly. And she picks it up, and she's like, all right, then. Do you think, hopefully we'll find your sprite friend there on the way. Now, I want to cut briefly to Regina. You spent the last 10 minutes running into basically tree after tree while trying to follow this bird. And you keep hearing, like, you know, sort of whistling and caw, tweet, and then caw, 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 caw. Like, but it seems to be coming from multiple directions, and you're kind of lost. There are a lot of bird calls there that you could follow. There is no sign of this bird.
The next bird that gets too close to me, I'll tackle it.
Okay. I'm going to have you make a notice check, please. This will be notice wits. Yeah, exactly.
Notice wits. Okay. I do have notice. Okay. I don't have a lot of wits, though.
Well.
There we go.
Yeah. So you hear this tweet, tweet, like right next to you. So you're like, huh, and you end up tackling this very really rough and like prickly thing, and then you realize that you've embraced a pine cone, and you're like holding onto a pine cone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear the bird.
Okay. Do I see the bird?
No. You do see a pine cone.
Okay. I'm not even sure about the whole bird thing anymore, so I take the pine cone and try to find my people.
Okay. I think you're actually able to make your way back just as the Bailey is leading you out of the clearing, leading Reginald Ashflower and Muriel. Regina, looking hot and sweaty and very annoyed and holding a large pine cone, comes flying into the clearing from another side of the woods. So you see your companions about to depart.
Absolutely not willing to admit that I had a failure. I will wordlessly fly up to Muriel, put the pine cone in her hand, and just fly on. Like, wait for the others to get ready.
Wait.
Another one for
and
the collection.
Hand her booze.
You hand her booze? Okay.
Yes.
Regina realizes that it's really good to have friends.
This is a good moment. Okay. So Bailey leads you a long way. And Reginald, like, there are moments where she's like, okay, all right, now we go left here. And she just plunges off into what looks like the exact same thicket, except that, you know, a minute later, less than that, 30 seconds later, you've broken through and there's a lot of clean area on the other side. You would have had no idea, like, you know, and so because she knows these woods very well, right? So she just cuts through, like, you go here, left here, up here, the other way. And she's very happy, you know, ever since she got the locket, she's whistling, you know, and she's whistling and you know, all that sort of thing, making a lot of noise, but seeming to go unerringly. But you notice that over time, you are gradually sinking down in, like, you're basically making your way down over time, almost as if you were going down a very shallow hill, one obviously side of this forest, apparently. And as you go along, you eventually begin to hear the sound of running water. And this maybe takes, I would say, an hour. And at the end of this hour, she stops and she holds up a hand with this running water and she says, "Ah, there it is. Right through the tree cover here, down there, you'll see the river that you must cross. Well, it's really more of a stream, probably. You get over that stream and then you get on the other side, and right past there is where you'll find the chapel. That's a dangerous place, I don't mind telling you. There's strange things that float around that chapel. Strange things that drift off into other places in the woods. If you're smart, you keep your axe handy. and you stay well away from any place like that. But you know your own business. If you want to go to the chapel, who am I to tell you no? Thank you for helping me find my necklace, and I'll always remember you, even if I come across your corpses in a couple days. And grabs her axe, and nods at you and then salutes and turns the other way and starts whistling on the way back.
Before she leaves, can I just walk up to her and just be like, keep that locket with you always, and you will be protected.
Oh, well, I will, miss. I'll do that. I don't plan to let this out of my sight. When I get home, I'm going to make sure I fashion something really strong. Maybe made of twine. No, not twine. Maybe
Chain.
a chain. That's a good idea. If I get a chain with 6-inch links, maybe that should be enough. And she plans out the chain, each link of which is this, and it'll never get lost again. Like the chain, which looks like it'd be 5 times the size, each link of the locket, And she's like, thank you again. And she smiles and is humming or whistling something about, I'm a something, I'm okay, sleep all night, and wanders off. And that leads you here right on the tree cover, and as you can see just beyond the tree cover, what sounds like rushing water. You need to actually just go through the last bit of tree cover, but you can hear it right on the other side.
Okay, we assess the river stream and its scariness.
And its speed. So do you want to just walk through the tree cover to reveal, to see it?
Cautiously.
Okay.
So no, I'd like to just see if there's anybody in the vicinity.
Okay.
Can I check if there's anybody in there, any creatures around or any people?
Yeah, let me have you make a notice. I'm trying to think if it'd be wits or yeah, notice wits.
Notice wits. Got it. 10. No, 17.
That's
I
17.
rolled a 6.
I was gonna say, and you get a light fate too. 17. Yes. So it doesn't seem like anything is there. The water definitely is moving at a pretty fast speed. You can tell, but no, you don't see or hear anyone out there. It seems pretty deserted.
Okay. I turn to the others. I don't think anybody's out there, so I think we might be safe to approach the river.
So
And with
if people agree with that and come out,
Okay.
I definitely approach the river.
the trail ends. The sort of little secret winding path that you've been brought down ends on the rocky bank of a wide stream that flows swiftly through the heart of the woods. There was obviously a footbridge which once stood here, but it collapsed a long time ago. You can see that the trail resumes on the far bank, and there is a wooden boat bobbing in the current on the far side as well, which is tied to a tree. And sort of as you stand there, you can see what you see there.
Let's get the boat and get you over there. If nobody protests, I'll start flying over the river towards the boat.
I am a little apprehensive about literally any of us being able to do that boat.
To do the boat or what?
To maneuver the boat and then put it in the water safely, and then for any of us to get into the boat, and then for any of us to then maneuver the boat to the other side. Considering the trials that we had with the tree a couple days ago, I'm a little apprehensive about this.
Well, let's first get the boat here, and then we're gonna see.
Okay.
I think get the boat here and see what shape it's in, because it could be rotted, it could be perfectly fine, and then we can either go across one by one or we can go across all together. Who knows?
Okay. Do you want me to carry over a rope and then we can pull the boat over?
That's a really good idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a
Yeah.
really good idea.
That rope don't work right.
Yeah, you can use my broken rope.
It could be a mimic boat. It's possible, Patriot J. It's conceivable.
Well, you never know.
So, Regina, as you turn to fly across, something goes in front of your vision. Actually, including my camera, which isn't focusing right. Come on, camera, focus. Okay, good. So something flies in front of your vision. and then flies back. And you think as it's buzzing by your vision, you hear, but it sounds like someone literally making the sound, like that.
Oh.
All of you now see this thing flashing around Regina.
Does it look like a spirit?
Finally, it comes to a stop, and you hear, "Boy, you're all really slow." And there's a pause, and then you can see that Mickey Mouse is there. Yes, you can see that actually it was a little more Mickey Mouse than I wanted it to be. Oh gosh, everybody! I didn't want to make it quite so goofy. But you see someone there is, "Hello, are you all trying to cross that river? I can help, maybe. I mean, if you entertain me, I can be. I'm helpful that way. Hi, have we met? I'm Parisia." Like, literally, this is what happens, like, just scattershot. So you see hovering in front of you what looks obviously like some kind of fairy. There are sort of thin, kind of gossamer-style wings. You can see that she has what looks like a sparkling dress of some kind around her. And everywhere she moves, glitter. Glitter, 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 everywhere. And she's smaller than you, for sure, Regina. And she looks at you and she says, "Oh, you must be a cousin of mine. I'm so glad to see." "Oh," and then she sees you, Reginald, and she flies back a few steps. He's really, do you know you have a ghoul behind you? Because they're really dangerous. Who are these people? Hi, do you have antlers? What are those? Hello, how are you? Do you need help? Have we met? I'm Parisia."
I look at Muriel and I say, "Are you related to this fairy?"
I mean, not directly, but like if you go back far enough, we're not going to talk about that. Hi, I'm Mariel.
"Oh, hi, I'm Parisia, hi. Do you know that you have a ghoul there, that he's kind of scary, but you have a sprite, and she's great. I'm sure she's great. We're probably friends or cousins, right? What's your name? Is your name, your name is, Melliflua, probably, right? Or, let's see, Shalene, or,
I'm just going to have to stop you right there. She's very nice, but she doesn't chit-chat. But we can talk, and it's okay. The ghoul's really nice. He also doesn't talk, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she
Hello.
seems," and then she flies next to you and says in an extremely loud whisper that carries across the stream, she says, "She seems really, really angry. Like, is she always this angry? Because she has a big, why does she carry that acorn? She looks really scared and angry."
Well, the acorn is vengeance.
I am not scared.
"Oh," and she says, "You talk. Good. I'm so glad. Hi, I'm Parisia. What's your name? What's your name? And she spins around.
My name is Augusta.
Hi, Augusta. Hi. I'm Parisia. And I guess you already know that there's a ghoul, so just be careful because they're dead and they can hurt people. I think so. That's what I've heard. And
No. He told me he's not dead.
Well,
We're not
he's
dead.
not.
He said he's not dead, and I tend to believe him because he should know.
She flies up to you, Reginald, and she crosses her arms and looks at you and she says, "Are you telling the truth? Are you really not dead? Because you're a ghoul, and I thought ghouls had dead parts of them. Are you sure?"
I'm not alive. It's not the same as not being dead.
I don't understand that. Anyway, so she backs up a few steps.
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
And she nods. She's like, "I knew someone who used to be, yeah, his name was
under his
with
breath.
Bax
Not
or
how it
Lax
works.
or something."
You know, I've seen things like stones, and they're definitely not alive, but you wouldn't say a stone is dead.
That's true. Oh,
They're
you're
just
super
born
smart,
different.
Augusta. Super smart. You must be the leader of the party. I can already tell. You must be the leader, and you must tell everyone what to do. So, do you
know
as
that.
the leader? I should go
That's
talk to
true.
you. That's how it works. So, as the leader, do you want to get across that river? Because if you can entertain me, I'll help you get across the river. No problem. It's okay. I got it.
I do need to do some leading here, and right now I need to lead the rope across the river.
You want to do that? Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
You do your own entertainment, okay?
Well, you're not going to pull that boat by yourself, are you?
That's why I take the rope.
No, it's heavy. I mean, it's big. You know, like you're like me. You're small, and the boat is big. And she's making these and these boats.
I just try to like fly on to get over the river with the damn rope.
So you do that, and she like as you're flying with the rope, she's like, I just wanted you to know that it's really important. Wait, because they've been so she's like flying left and right to try to keep up with you. So you see these two fly across, and then she says, I'm just telling you, it might not be easy. It's kind of a big boat. See, look, it's a big boat. And you come across, it looks like a decent-sized boat. And she says, are you sure you don't want help? Because I can help you. I mean, I'm fine helping. I just need, if you could just entertain me, like tell me a story or something, that would be great. I can help you. I don't need money. You're already kind of fun. I just a little more, a bit more, and then I can help you. What do you think?
Do you actually live here?
Yes, I live, well, not right here. I live off in the forest on top of a tree, behind the squirrel and underneath the nest of the robin and underneath the egg and through there. And then you go underneath and under with them. And then I live there with my family, or most of the time they do. But they asked me to leave for a while because they said that they wanted me to have a rest. And I appreciate that. They often say things like that. They say, you need to get a rest. Could you please leave? And so I always try to give them a rest because it's important that I let them rest. That I let myself rest because they can be very exhausting, with the way that they are. So that's where I live. Yeah. Where do you live?
I tie the rope to the boat and see if I need to like untie the boat to get it moving.
It looks like you will need to untie the other side.
I will untie the other side then because that makes sense.
Okay.
And then
and it starts to go immediately because it's a fast current. So it starts to pull immediately.
I'll try to push the boat and hopefully that Ashflower and the rest of the people will pull the boat.
Okay.
With the rope thing, and then I push, they pull, and hopefully we get the boat across before my ears start to bleed.
So so she says, okay, I'm just telling you, you're gonna have to be careful because there's something. Well, see, the boat has this. Well, see, it's hard to explain. So in the meanwhile, Ashflower and Reginald and Muriel, you've got the rope on the other side, and so you can pull on it if you wish. So who is holding onto it and who isn't? I guess I should ask. Who's holding onto the rope?
I am holding onto it.
Okay.
I've got the I guess the middle end, so
okay.
Because I'm guessing Reginald has the back.
So we're talking tug of war, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Suddenly there is this enormous yank on the rope. Now you know that the boat is moving at a good speed, but Regina, you could see this too. That something yanked the boat from underneath the boat. Either the river did, or the boat decided to for some reason. But the boat just went. Ugh. So all three of you kind of almost pitch forward. Reginald, I need you, since you're the anchor on this, to make what would be an athletics. So I guess that would be brawn. He said, check, I believe, to see if you can hold on to this thing.
So flat 3d6 then.
That would be the case, unless chat wants to inspire. But... So, yeah, not so much. So you slide, which means that Ashflower needs to make the exact same check, which but is going to be doing so at a -1 because the anchor has fallen.
What check am I doing, sorry?
It's going to be athletics brawn.
Athletics brawn.
If you have that.
Oh, God. I do. So 3d6. Did you say minus, what would you say?
It would be -1 because you've lost your anchor.
Flat 3d6 then. Well, I got 9, but I also got a 6 on the Kismet die.
That's nice. Sadly, it's a failure, but it's nice that you got a Kismet die. And that leads us to Muriel. Muriel, you got a -2 on this check now because you've lost 2 of your people that are there. And so what I'm going to do is, now, as far as the light fate is concerned, I need to double check and see about this because I think you could use light fate to try to change one of these. Oh, and you also do have, now you didn't technically say you were using this, but you do have your Mark of Glory thing that would allow them to change one of those. I forgot about that scroll that you got. But yeah, so you can spend light fate before you make a test to add a bonus die to the roll. You could do that if you wanted, Muriel. And I'm not saying that to make you do it. I just wanted to let you know what you're
No, I was actually gonna say I should probably do that. So I can choose any of the dice that I roll to re-roll?
No, you
No.
add a bonus die to the roll, and then you choose which 3 dice you keep. And the Kismet die has to be one of them. Or you can roll for a test and you can spend a light fate to re-roll one of the dice. And then you have to keep the new roll. So you can do either or, not both. You can either spend a light fate now, before the test, to add a bonus die, and then you can choose the 3 dice you want from the rolls that you have. Or you can see what you get on the roll, and then you can spend a light fate to re-roll one of the dice, but you keep whatever you get on that re-roll.
That's a gamble, isn't it?
Indeed.
So if I were to use a light fate now, that would be 4d6, and then I just choose the 3.
That's right.
Right? Okay. Like it even matters.
Wow. So, yeah. I think I get a dark fate off of that, though. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, really, I appreciate that. I may not even get a chance to use it in our session, but that's okay. All right. So you also fall over, which means, Regina, you see that the rope and the boat are rapidly slipping. Now they're down the river, and Parisia says, "See, I told you. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to tell that. I'm sorry. I just knew that there was going to be a thing unless you had let me help you. I really think you should let me help you because, I mean, maybe I can help you. Like, there's stuff down there, and you're going to lose the boat. Look, the boat's going. You got to do something. The boat is vanishing right now."
I cling to the boat. Okay, then do your helping thing.
Okay, you promised to tell me a story?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I tell you a story.
All right, no problem. And then she literally dives below the surface of the water. And
That's not normal.
There's a moment of silence, and then you hear, and the boat like moves around as the water undulates, and then all of a sudden settles. And Parisia comes out. Whew, all right, it's fine now. You can just pull the boat over. And all of a sudden, not only has the current stopped pulling the boat, for a moment, the river has smoothed, just like glass. And the boat's just floating on top of it.
I give Parisia a side eye and push the boat.
Gives you a big smile. She helps you push the boat. Oh, man, I'm really glad you were able to do that because I was really worried if you lost the boat, it was going to be really hard to get across. I mean, you can swim it, but it's really rough, especially when you don't know how to calm down the river the way that I do. I mean, I can do that, so she does this like the whole way over to the side. You get the boat over to the other side, and the minute that the boat is drawn up on the other side, the stream starts to go again. And Parisia claps her hands, very excited. And she says, "All right, you did it. You did it. We did it. Well, I did it, really. You wouldn't have done it. You would have lost the boat. But I did it. And so now we got it back over. And so now I would like a story, please." And she plops down cross-legged like a kid at kindergarten and waits.
Okay.
It could be from anyone. Anyone can tell me a story. It's fine.
Does anybody know a good story?
I could tell her the history of my people. That's an interesting story for non-lay walkers.
Anytime, I'm ready.
I think she wants to be entertained.
My ancestry is reasonably entertaining.
I look at the antlers and I say, well, maybe.
Though we will open it up to others to comment as well.
Is this a party?
I don't know.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, once upon a time.
Oh, I love this one.
Ready? Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, once upon a time, there was a glorious little fairy with so many sparkles coming off of her, and she was out and about in the forest.
What was her name? What was her name?
Her name was Patricia.
Wow, that's almost like my name. Okay, go on.
Okay. And so she was out romping around and she was chasing squirrels and playing with leaves, and there was so much beauty in the forest. And then she happened upon this group of people who were different and they were weird. They had a ghoul with them.
What? Oh, ghoul. Those are really wow.
Hang on. There was a ghoul, right?
Okay.
But little did she know this ghoul was friendly.
Oh. Friendly ghoul. Wow. What an amazing story. Okay, go on.
Okay. So the
What was his
party-
name? What was his name? What was his name? What was his name?
His name was Ralph.
Wow, that's so similar to. It's reminding me of. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Trying not to laugh. Okay, so she finds this party, right?
Ralph's not that friendly.
With the friendly ghoul who is not dead, right? Because he said very clearly that he's not dead. And then they got stuck. They got stuck on the wrong side of a vast river.
Oh
It
no.
was so big.
Oh.
It was just so big.
Yeah.
And it was just rapids, just crashing down. It was white water. It was horrible.
Oh.
And they were stuck. They wanted to get to the other side of the river because on the other side of the river is candy.
Well, candy. What kind of candy? What kind of candy?
Maple bars.
And she sort of, okay, right, okay, right. Maple bars, sure.
And candied nuts.
Oh,
and
candy nuts.
I'm trying to think.
Candied
Sugar
nuts.
leaves.
Oh,
Sugar
I love sugar leaves. Oh wow, it's like a story made just for me. Okay, all right. So what happened then? What happened then? Did they get across? Did they all die? What happened?
So they tried to get across. They tried so hard, but the current tried to carry them away because it was all whitewater rapids and it was horrible. And they were all screaming and flailing and trying not to drown.
Oh.
And then this little fairy remembered something that her mama told her, which was to help people in need. So she used her magical fairy power to stop the current and to slow the descent of the people who were drowning. And they were able to come to the surface and reach their destination, and they all feasted on sugar leaves.
Wow. That's what, and then they all lived happily or something, right?
Or something, yeah, definitely.
Wow. Oh, and so she applauds. She stands up. She flies around you, applauding. A round of applause, And she like goes around and flies up to you. And wow, that was an amazing story. And it's so some stories they kind of tell stories and they seem to be about other people. I like a story that I can identify with. It's almost like I feel directly connected to it in some really amazing close way. It's as if it's so immediate. It's so anyway, it was a great story. Wow. I'm so glad that I met all of you and I'm glad that I was able to help you with the boat and I'm glad that you're not dead, and she points to you, and I'm glad that you're not always angry, I guess, she says to you, Regina, and I'm glad that you have, and she looks at you, Ashflower, antlers, and I'm glad that you're all here and that you're such a good storyteller. And she says to you, Muriel, she says, I just want you to know, when you cross over that river, it's kind of scary. There's a big, scary building on the other side. It's like a building where strange things move, and there's creatures, and they do a lot of this, like and then and then and they're not even doing it in harmony. They're not singing. They're just sort of like groaning, and I don't know. I try not to spend much time there, so just be super careful because I don't want you to ever have to tell me a story about something that just happened. I mean, like who would do that, right? I mean, who would ever make a story about something that just occurred? Right? Okay, bye, thanks. And darts off and is gone like a shot, leaving a trail of glitter, by the way, in her wake that just kind of drifts down.
I lean over to Muriel and I just say, you continue to be utterly fascinating, both your abilities and your kind heart.
Oh,
I'm just wondering why Ralph never told me that story.
And as the party prepares to board the boat to head to the other side to go to the mysterious chapel, we are going to bring this session to a close unless Mike says something first. Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, just before we close the session, because the warnings that the fairy had given us in regards to the other side of the river and how tumultuous this river has been, I would like to try and prepare something just before we leave.
Okay.
I'd like to use my Leyline Walker ability because I have Light Fate to spare. And as far as I'm aware, you use it or lose it.
It's true.
So I'd like to use these right now. So I lay my hand on the ground near us. And I do this in a couple of different places. But I catch one spot, and you see like a faint blue line just trace along the ground off into the distance, just for a split second, and a symbol appears on the ground in a blue hue, and it's probably about 10 to 15 feet in diameter. It's just like a ring of symbols, and then it fades away slowly. And I stand up and I say, if my power permits me, if we get into trouble at any point, anytime before the next new moon, we can remove ourselves from any situation and I can teleport us back to this point. But it is an exhausting process and requires quite a lot of light energy in order to do this. But it means that setting this anchor up will allow me to return to this point in one of the ley lines in this world. So with that, mechanically speaking, I've spent 3 light fate, and I've cast an anchor that lasts until the next new moon, and I can teleport people back, including myself, for a light fate apiece.
That sounds good. And with a deep irony and sadness, you realize the new moon is tonight. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the case. All right. So you cast that. Remind me next time, Mike, by the way, so that we can make sure that we have that in place. But otherwise, we're going to bring this session to a close as the party is... Oh, sorry. Sorry, go ahead. Wait, there's one more first. Go ahead. Sorry, Regina.
Yeah, just because to also get a closure for this scene. So Regina looks actually kind of sad for a moment and mumbles, and they actually exiled me from the Sealy Court.
Fair enough. And I should ask whether Reginald or Muriel want to do anything before I just close up.
Nothing that would really make sense, I think, from what we know. So I'm fine.
Okay. Muriel?
Yeah, I don't think that I have anything that I can do.
Yeah, anything I've got that's relevant doesn't need light fate, so I can just bring it up when it's relevant next time.
Okay. In that case, this will be a good setup for... there's a good chance the next session will be the close of this initial Death's Messenger adventure, I think. There's a chance. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible. Because you shortcut, having that extraordinary success really helped a lot to find the woods, the woodsman who helped you find the locket, and then all that stuff. So that helped a lot. So it started not promisingly with the failure initially with the extra day, but then the shortcut you actually were able to find after that. So it worked out in the end. So it's good times. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Patriot J. All right. And in case you're curious where to find these people next, you will see them I'm going to ask them where you can see them individually, but as a group, you can see them on my channel a week from this weekend, starting Friday. They're going to be on Saturday with ARFCon, which is my charity convention I run every year, and they will be concluding D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder at that time. So with that said, fun times today, though, everybody. Let me start at the bottom with Chai. Chai is a delightful story. I loved the sort of angle on it. And it certainly seemed to fit someone who is kind of not particularly mature and fascinated at the idea that every story involves her directly, as children often do with stories. So that was a lot of fun. How did you feel about today, and where will the lovely folks find you next?
That story was really fun. It was really hard, actually. I was like, how do I make this into a story? So that was fun.
I was loving the Ralph was like, it's like,
Yeah, coming up with names was fun. Anyway, today's session, it started out rough because I had all this stuff going on, but then everything calmed down, so I was able to actually play, which is great. I love that. I love it when that happens. Anyway, as for when people will see me next, I'm trying to stream. Currently my baby is in between nap schedules, so that's been hard. But I do try to at least pop in every day, say hi, show people how much stuff I have unpacked, and then close the stream. So I'm at least trying that. And of course, I will be with you guys on Saturday, not this Saturday, following, for the conclusion of Storm King's Thunder.
Conclusion of Storm King's Thunder, but fortunately not the conclusion of Chai with us, because she will be staying with us for Talisman Adventures. So we'll get more of the stories of Muriel as you go along. But thank you, Chai, so much, and great stuff as always. Moving right on up the line, Mike Ashflower, that was a good idea with that teleport circle, basically, that you put into play at the end there. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I love the image just visually of you being on the top of this tree, being like, it's right there. It's just, while everyone's just clanging into the sides and stuff, as you were trying to, have them get over this stuff. I'm enjoying seeing how Ashflower is beginning to... Ashflower reminds me quite a bit of the character of Vision, at least as the Marvel movies are presented, which is this sort of vaguely, doesn't really get the sort of people that he travels with, but is a character that, despite that, actually enjoys them in their own way. Vision's speech at the end that he says to Ultron at the edge of the Age of Ultron is one of my favorite, pop culture comments about being among humans that I've seen. Anyway, he reminds me a little bit of that. So it was fun to see Ashflower do his thing. How'd you feel about today? Where will the lovely folks find you next?
I, as always, had a fantastic time. It's excellent playing with this group, and I'm really starting to feel like I'm getting the hang of Talisman. I know we've done it for a few weeks now, but everything's just starting to click, especially with great little cheat sheets like the one Perigé made, and also having a physical book, which also helps. But yeah, I'm starting to think, what happens, for the next chapter for Ashflower? Why is he doing what he's doing? Where is he coming from? That sort of thing. All the little nuances that make a character, a character. I'm starting to flesh those out a little bit. If people want to check me out, I will post on social media whenever I'm streaming. You can check me out. All social media links should be Peripheral Mike, same as my username on Twitch, but normally I stream on Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. BST with some lo-fi gaming, some gameplay to chill out to. So at the minute we're playing through Spiritfarer still, and it's just a very relaxing journey. We're about, I'd say, a third of the way through it so far. I've played it to the end point on my personal playthrough, but yeah, there are some real tear-jerking moments during that game.
Yeah, I've heard that's I've only played one session of it, but so far, but I've heard that it's it gets rough as far as the emotionally, but that's fine. It's art is art, right? But thank you, Mike. Always a pleasure. And you will see Mike for ARFCon coming up as well a week from this Saturday. So you'll want to be there for that. That leads us to Darksaber 2K. Reginald, first of all, poor Reginald had to do the guiding thing, as you pointed out. I've been in the city for 137 years or whatever, and really now I'm gonna. So, and you managed to find some things here and there, but I was cracking up at the idea that it wasn't that you couldn't climb the rope; it's that the rope kind of just comes down to you, and you're like, you just pull a rope. Why doesn't this work?
That's what you do. You lower a casket into the ground. That's how ropes work.
Yeah, why doesn't it work the opposite direction? But that was really funny. And I was enjoying seeing that. You didn't have any call for combat yet because of the things folks were able to do, but I have a feeling it's coming, so I don't think there'll be any problem there. How did you feel about today? Where would lovely folks find you next?
It was a lot of fun. It is. I really do enjoy this Talisman system, and I've got to say, it's refreshing to be coming in at the ground floor on a system that nobody knows very well.
Yes.
So I feel a bit like with Dungeons and Dragons. I always feel people seem to know it a lot better than I do. So it's nice to have feels more like an even playing field to a certain degree. Yes. I know we're all trying to figure out how to use the characters appropriately, and then you don't feel like you maybe are holding anyone back because everyone's in the same boat. So we're all figuring it out. And
it's true.
I think that's a nice thing, and it is a really good system. Very easy to pick up and get the hang of, with some nice quirks to it, like the D6 Kismet system. So I'm very much enjoying it.
Awesome.
And I think, like you say, next time it may tie into some of my specialties. We'll have to see. We'll get the lay of the land, and we'll see if 100 years tending a grave might give me some advantage. Maybe. And of course, we'll be concluding Storm King's Thunder in epic fashion at ARFCon.
Yeah.
Mixed feelings on that one after all these years, but
I know, because we started. I had forgotten this until Fleos. For those of you who don't know, you should be checking out. We have an audio podcast of the Storm King's Thunder campaign that Fleos is doing and releasing quite often, and I've been listening to some of those and really enjoying them. But we started at ARFCon, I don't know, 4-5 years ago, some ungodly number of years ago.
4 years.
4 years. That's just crazy. So anyway,
so mixed feelings about that coming to an end, but also really excited about what's going to be coming next. As you've seen in the Discord, we've been throwing ideas back and forth.
I'm excited.
Discussing things that hopefully chat will see the fruits of in the future. And I will be back tomorrow. I know I'm doing a game that's in one of the sales this week. I can't remember what it is because I forgot to update the schedule, and then I've been busy this evening and it's gone completely out of my mind. So it'll be a game. And I'll be back with Disco Elysium on my channel on Thursday, which has got really exciting because I had a massive breakthrough in the plot. And suddenly, like, I've gone from, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to get to the conclusion of the story to suddenly, like, oh my God, everything's falling into place now. So, yeah, It's nice to have a lead.
So now it all makes sense. All right, well, that's cool.
Getting there.
That is very, very cool. So thank you, Saber, as always. Again, thank you for Dashboard and Moobot, etc. I appreciate that. And yes, I will see you for ArvCon. And I will see Pyron Jade for ArvCon. And Regina had a very active session between dealing with, first of all, the speak with tree things, which just cracked me up, is that your method of speak with trees is like kick, hey you, like the tree so this sort of general frustration with these damn trees, they never, and then of course Parisia, and we had the running after the bird and the pine cone and all that kind of stuff. So and in the end, your bringing the rope across definitely did help, and you just needed to kind of put up and not punch Parisia in the face, long enough to get her on the other side. I was actually a little surprised that we didn't. I think it's good for the story that you didn't, but I was a little surprised that there wasn't a certain point, shut up, like slash, like just slamming her into the water or something. But you managed to hold it together, Regina. Maintained control of her temper for long enough. How'd you feel about today? Where would lovely folks find you next?
Regina has a very complicated relationship with other fairy beings, sprite-like beings that came into play there. So yeah, I love today, and I do actually love the system. I've actually been considering DMing it myself for NordCon, which is Germany's biggest convention for fantasy gaming and literature. Ooh. But it's on a weekend where I might be taken with something that I'm planning for the channel, so I don't know yet. But yeah, this is like something that I could imagine, like explaining it quickly to people and just handing out pre-prepared characters and just like, come on, let's go for it. Let's learn about the system that nobody knows about but should. And people will actually see me on Thursday because I've put down a regular slot, so I'll now stream regularly on Thursdays again.
Huzzah! Yay! The return to full regular streaming. That's awesome.
Yep, so I'm going to start with a nice promo stream this Thursday, but the promo hasn't started yet, so I can't talk about it.
Okay. So soon, you will see for yourselves. That's great. Thank you, Pyron, and for making that amazing. I'm going to show it for the 75th time today. For making this amazing flowchart right there, Talisman RPG skill check flowchart. Marvel at the Talisman RPG skill check flowchart that is given to you by Pyron.
It's so simple, isn't it, chat?
Look at that. Look how good. So it's great. Thank you very much, though, seriously, Pyron, for everything. And for an awesome session today, as always. I have said a million times how much I enjoy this group and love playing with them. And I cannot wait to see the conclusion of Storm King's Thunder a week from this Saturday, and to get back into Talisman Adventures next week. And of course, with those of you who will be staying for the D&D thing, also with Ghosts of Saltmarsh to come. So great stuff, as always. Chat, can we get some love for our wonderful players? Pyron Jade, Darksaber2K, Peripheral Mike, and Tasty Chai. Thank you so much, players. Great job, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now. Alrighty. And let me tell you, it was pretty cool that we were actually in a forest music setting. Like, I mean, this is forest music that's literally playing on Roll20 right now as we speak. And that's really cool. That is, of course, from Green Forge Studios, who I partner with. I have a license with to do this music, and you should check out Green Forge Studios. You can do a Google search for them or go over to my channel and type in !Greenforge, and you'll be able to find out more information about them because they are good peoples and do good stuff. So I am very happy to be associated with all of them, and I'm going to just quickly double check and make sure we're all caught up on the Light Fate on my Talisman. Great, they are. All right, so that, folks, is going to do it for me on this channel. I've got to rise up on out of here, but I do want to mention that I am going to be back tonight on my own channel. I don't think we have anybody I don't think anyone's after me, at least I hope not. Okay, I didn't think so. Yeah, so Crocs is back tomorrow. So I wanted to let everybody know that if you're interested, I am going to be playing with my voice acting team a game called NeoCab, which has been a lot of fun. And my voice acting team, the R Vocalists, are a group of professional voice actors who actually voice these games. And so we've been having a lot of fun doing it. And we are going to have a full crew again tonight. It's going to be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, Little Red Dot, who is one of our vocal team members, is going to be joining in, and we'll have our full crew. So definitely stop by if you are interested in some more gameplay and all that kind of good stuff. That'll be over on my channel, as I say, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow on my channel, we've got Community D&D, if you want to see some more Dungeons & Dragons stuff, with Triffity Mats, with Echo Alpha X5, with Hoodie, and with Rock God, with Shadowed Mage as the DM of Dragon of Icespire Peak. So that's going on. And then this weekend, I'm going to be down at Pittsburgh at Three Rivers Comic Con, where these two things, Icarus and Jeldenik, are going to be prominently displayed. I'm finally going back to an in-person con. My first one and my last one was last in-person one was February. So this is going to be 15 months. It'll be 15 months since my last in-person convention, and I could not be more excited for it. It's outdoors. It's, you know, all socially distanced and masked. I'm fully vaccinated, but it's I'm so excited to be able to be. I can't even tell you. It's going to be great. So thank you. I'm very happy to be going back to something like this. So that's going to be happening. So definitely feel free to stop by my channel when you see that happening. And definitely, of course, stay here for this stuff as well. Next Tuesday, I'm going to be back here playing some Neverwinter Nights 2. So you'll be able to find me on Pen and Pixels playing Neverwinter Nights 2. And then again, a week from this Friday, we launch with ARVCon, the 7th annual ARVCon to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. It is sponsored in part by GOG.com. It is also sponsored by Pegasus Spiele, the makers of this game, Talisman, which you just saw prominently displayed today. And of course, it's sponsored by a number of others, including people who have GOG.com games as well, like Fatbot Games. They do Vaporum and Vaporum Lockdown that I played on here. They're sponsoring it, so we'll have lots of giveaways and things like that. All of it to benefit the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. We are even going to have 3 of the scientists supported by Damon Runyon are going to be playing on Monday, so this is a week from Monday coming, are going to be playing a tabletop role-playing game as part of the event, which is really cool. And it's all to benefit Damon Runyon, which is, thank you, Infinity Simplex, the Cancer Research Foundation. Again, a critically important thing, even in the time of COVID. It doesn't mean that these other things go away. So it's really important we continue to fund that research. And I could not be more excited to be a part of it. So definitely thank you to our wonderful group. And of course, you'll see this crew, as I say, on Saturday for the finale, the epic finale of D&D with GOG Storm King's Thunder. That's going to be it for me. Tomorrow you will see the Crocs, as I said, here, so you'll want to stop by for that. The Crocs playing, I didn't even see what Crocs was playing. Crocs playing, what did I just put in? Oh, just kicks off the Wednesday streaming, so we don't know yet. All right, so they're going to be there. Your S-Rank crew stands by you, yes. I love it. I love the S-Rank crew. So anyway, so you'll see Crocs tomorrow. But again, my channel tonight, if you're interested, you can stop by if you want to see some voiceover action with NeoCab and the R Vocalists. That's it for me. Much love to all. Thank you all so much. I was playing Hunt Down. Oh, cool. All right. It's a new game. All right. So Hunt Down. So Croc's playing Hunt Down tomorrow. You want to be available for that. And of course, Kilgore Trout, who just posted there, will be performing in the concert that's part of ARVCon as well. So a lot of GOG presence that's part of it. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks everyone for being a wonderful audience. We had a good turnout today as always. So please spread the word, let people know about it, and I will catch you people, wonderful people, tonight on my channel or sometime back here next week on GOG.com for Pen and Pixels, etc. Much love to all, and you're all the best, and I'll catch you all soon. Everyone be good to each other. Bye-bye.